Because like, if you look at like any popular avatar creator now, they release maybe an avatar every 3 weeks at fastest. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be way faster if we take out the Unity step. I think it could be way faster. Like they could assemble the model in like a 3D program, and then you're good. And then move on to the next one. Like I could be like an assembly line, and it's all creative at that point because you're just focusing on the creative stuff and not the boring dev stuff, you know.
Welcome to another episode of the Sweet Talking Podcast with your host, Nepherti. Hello, it's great to see you all again. This is episode 30 of my podcast. Oh, hell yeah, we made it to episode 30, which is wild. I'm really looking forward to talking with our guest, BlackJaxVR, this evening. It's going to be a really great time. But before we get started with everything and get started into tonight's discussion, I want to quickly say thank you to all of you who have subscribed to me, who have liked and watched my past content. I want to say a quick thank you to you guys personally for continuing to support me as you do. Every little bit helps, so thank you all so much for being here and for liking and watching my content. So thank you. I also want to send a very special thank you to my patrons. And if you're interested in learning more about how you can support me on my Patreon, there is a link that goes to my link tree on my YouTube as well as on my Twitch, wherever you may be watching this right now. You can go check that out at patreon.com/Nepherti. There are also rotating notifications like right near me, I'm pretty sure. So everything will always be there for you to see for yourself if you're interested in supporting me and help me to do bigger and better things. But now that we've gotten that out the way, guys, we're going to go ahead and start off with tonight's podcast. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy tonight's discussion. That is what we're here to do. We love connecting with people, and tonight we're going to be connecting with none other than BlackJaxVR. We're gonna call him Jax for now. I'm sure you don't mind that, but thank you so much for being on the podcast, Jax. This is literally our first time sitting down having a conversation, despite us being in the same places more than once on more than one occasion, because we circulate. We're
more than one occasion, yeah.
Yeah, like we fraternize with very similar circles, but like actually like having a one-on-one conversation this is like our first time doing that. So I'm really looking forward to that.
There's always so many people around. It's hard to like, get a good interaction and to be like, hi, like I'm me, you're you, But it's nice that we can actually talk now.
Yeah, finally. So, yeah,
hello.
Like honestly, like it's like I've heard a lot about you. You've been recommended by Abe. You're Abe has called you.
That's my boy.
Yeah, Abe has called you their twin. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
I
do agree with that. We're very similar.
Okay.
We're kind of twinning at all times, like lowest key. He might be a little bit more femboy than me, but you didn't hear that from me. Surely not. Surely yes. Surely I'm not.
Okay. That's fair. And like for those of you who don't know who Abe is, by the time this episode comes out, Abe's episode will also be out by this time. So you can check out Abe Ham's episode as well. That'd be really great to do if you want to check that out. So please do. Abe is super cool. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it is indeed an Abe-isode. And I was so impressed with Abe, and I know that I'm most likely going to be very impressed with you. You have a lot of skills, a lot of talents that aren't really, I guess they are pretty common when it comes to content creators and streamers in general, but I think you kind of dig into like a different layer. You're doing a lot of different things all at once. So it's gonna be really interesting to kind of learn more about that and just kind of talk to you more about like why you do that sort of thing exactly, for those who may not know what exactly you do. So we're gonna be diving into all of that tonight and more. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Hit me with those questions.
Oh yeah, trust me.
Holy moly!
I've been known. Yeah, I've been known to be the heavy hitter. I like
jumping. Holy moly!
Yeah. Yeah. So don't you worry. The questions will be as hard hitting as I can manage for my first time talking with you. So we shall see. But
That's the way that I like to meet people, is just go completely raw dog straight into just talking about everything about each other.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly the way.
I do too. I love that. I'm very much about that. So yeah, let's get into it then. So I like to start off things very, very basic, kind of like, like ease into the hard-hitting questions. So, I would like you to kind of give a very brief description of who you are. Like who is BlackJaxVR? Can you give us like a description? It could be as long or short as you want it to be, as long as it's not like 2 sentences or like 2 words. Obviously, yeah. Let people know who you are and what makes you you.
I'm BlackJax. I am a streamer slash content creator slash programmer slash, I don't know, I try and do like a little bit of everything. I do a little bit of art, model making, I don't know. But mostly probably known for my streaming. I just like to, just go live and have a nice time and show everyone else a nice time, I don't like to make it too formal because I personally, I can't do it. I can't be too formal. I think it's really like difficult. But yeah, so I just am, and if people find my content funny or whatever, then I've succeeded.
Mm-hmm. So you're kind of like you're very much like in the space of like you're a streamer, like you do a number of creative things as well as, I mean, obviously streaming is creative in and of itself, but you're creating things aside from just being a content stream, which is like I think that's really important to kind of like drive home. So you said that you're a programmer, you're a designer, you're an avatar creator.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that goes into that?
Nothing out yet, but there's a lot. I think balancing all of it has been the hardest part. Like before I was just streaming and like doing my job, and that was pretty much like it for me. Like my job was very comfortable before, and I recently quit it earlier this year. So this whole year has pretty much just been me trying to focus in on like monetizing my skills. Because before it was like, I work and then I stream for fun. But now it's sort of like I stream not for fun, but it is still fun. Like I'm trying to keep it fun and, make stuff and sell that kind of stuff. But I'm also very like perfectionistic. So I have a hard time being like, okay, this is done, and I move on to the next thing. So I wind up rotating through all the things that I like to do and then focusing on one and then not doing enough of the other. And then like, oh man, I need to do that. So I'm all over the place. I'm super like ADHD person trying to do everything because I like doing everything.
Yeah. So you said that you recently quit your job, and I guess can you kind of explain like why did you end up quitting your job to kind of do this full time?
Well, I always thought that like I always wanted to do game development, and I always liked VR as soon as I started to be able to do it more in like 2020. So I was working my job, and I was like, I feel like I'm wasting my time every day. Like I'm just programming something that I don't really care about, and it's comfortable, but I'm not really like saving money anyway because it's, I don't know, I live in California, so it's really expensive.
Yeah.
So I was like, why not just quit and like try and like chase what I actually want to do. So that was pretty much it. And I got into a point in like my streaming career where I felt like there was enough people like with eyes on like what I was doing, where maybe I could get by like doing other things and like streaming and all that. So, but I can't rely on any one income source, I don't think, not yet.
Right, and I think that really is the key. Like I think that's something that a lot of streamers kind of don't understand. I think people tend to think that streamers, especially partner streamers, are just rolling in the dough all the time. But I think it's like you had enough like insight to like realize that like just like being a partner streamer would not be enough to kind of like make ends meet. So you're, like I said, you're trying to monetize like the variety of skills that you have. To kind of like, create things that you would like to have for yourself and like to give to others. And we're going to definitely be talking about those things in detail. But I just wanted to know like exactly why you end up quitting your job, and I guess what kind of motivated you to do that. But you just share that, so thank you for that. I want to ask like, I guess, what were you doing before you quit?
I was a programmer, so I was a software developer. I worked for like a military contractor, so I was doing sort of not like NDA stuff, but I was working on just military related things.
Okay.
So I was like a UX designer, UI/UX. So I was making like a tool.
So user interface, user experience designer essentially.
Cool. Yeah. So I had to make sure that the clients that we were selling the product to like could use the tool and like everything was working and it interfaces with like the back end because there was people who was working on the the server side stuff, and I was in charge of making sure that like worked for interacting with people.
Gotcha.
So that was cool. I really like doing that, and I think it's really helped me like develop Unity stuff too, because user experience is what's what UX is very important. So
yeah, it's something that like I don't have much experience in it myself, but obviously I when you use the acronyms, I obviously knew what they were, so like I'm familiar with like the like what goes into that, like on a very kind of basic level, but I don't know a whole lot about that. Like for people who may be curious, can you like share like a little bit of like what that kind of means, and like I guess how that kind of integrates with what you potentially do now?
yeah, well, like UI design is like putting buttons on like a window. You click like the application and then it opens up a window and it has all the buttons and stuff, and whatever you see is the UI, right? That's the user interface. And then user experience is different from that because if you're programming something and you have like a button and the button does like X thing, it exports a model or something. You have to create the interface in a way that finding that button and knowing what that button does isn't confusing and doesn't overwhelm whoever's trying to use the program for like the first time, like with no knowledge. So looking at your program from like a completely inexperienced perspective is super key to good user experience.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Yeah, I like to ask these questions just because I know there are people who may not understand or may not know exactly what those things are. Like, I imagine there are people of varying ages who don't know that sort of stuff. So thank you for explaining that. All right, so I guess like how did you end up in that line of work?
Like programming and stuff?
Yeah, like where you, like how did you end up there in the first place? Like was it always like a long time interest of yours, or?
Yeah, interesting you asked that. Yeah, I mean programming has been like a really long interest of mine. Like I've been programming since maybe like middle school, I think. So just in my free time. And I thought for like a little bit that I might not even have to go to college because I was just already programming like a bunch of stuff at that time and I was very comfortable doing it. But I mean, I still went anyway, which I don't regret because it was a good social experience. And that was before COVID and everything, so I got off scot-free with that. But yeah, and like before I even knew that I liked programming, I thought that I was going to make movies and stuff. I really wanted to make movies. I took a bunch of like video production classes and stuff. And then I realized that I had no sense of organization for like directing people and organizing people and like editing, and I couldn't come up with like good plot points and stuff. So it was good for me to like test that and like try and do that. But ultimately I wound up starting to like program like blog pages and like widgets and stuff and like forum signatures and things, and I got really into that and I was like, why don't I just program as my career? So I started to focus more on that, and that wound up working out for me. And I got really lucky because programming is a really good field, but I feel bad when people are like, I don't really know what I like doing, because I accidentally fell into programming, like it just happened to work for me. So yeah, I love programming. That's like my main thing.
Cool. So like, so when you said you were like doing, like you were like trying to become like a director or like trying to do like, make movies and stuff. So like when you were a kid, you were like already like doing on-camera stuff when you were like a kid, like or like a teenager, right? Yeah, that's true actually. Yeah, I was trying to like make like interesting content, I guess. That is true. Yeah, so that kind of I just wasn't really good at making it like an organized thing. I'm much better at spontaneity and like like doing bits and stuff just as they come up like on stream and things. So yeah, it does. It kind of comes together. Like you didn't exactly end up making movies, but you still ended up being a personality on camera that still kind of like that does things on camera. Like,
I never really even wound up thinking about that, but that's true. I kind of accidentally fell onto streaming, but it kind of like is a full circle, I guess. Yeah, pretty much, I would say. Wild. At this point. Yeah. You're welcome, by the way. Yeah. I've learned something about myself. No way.
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah. So I like to ask like those like deep prodding questions, because I think like a lot of people don't really realize just how much like their history and like their background actually kind of comes into play, especially if they're a streamer or content creator. A lot of that kind of plays into what they do now, and like their proficiency or their style of streaming has a lot to do with who they were and what they were doing in their past. So very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. So I guess let's go ahead and get into like what exactly. Let's talk about VRC. Like what got you into VRC? So I guess how did it all begin? Yeah.
I guess from like my tech background, I was always interested in like the idea of VR. And like when I was a kid, I was like, why can't we just put screens up to our eyeballs and then, move the screen the opposite direction from where our head's moving, and then just be able to see stuff in VR, right? And like, as a kid, it was like, everyone was like, that's impossible. Like that makes no sense. Like how would you do that? But then like, VR it suddenly existed, and I was like, holy shit, like we can actually do this now. And I was super interested in it, but I had no like money because I was like a kid when it first came out, or I was really young, and I didn't have a job and stuff. But I think I got a Oculus CV1 for Christmas, and the first game that I tried was VRChat because of the whole like Knuckles thing that was going on. I think I think I tried it a little bit before that happened, but then that happened, then I really like tried it again. But because I didn't have any privacy when I was like a kid, so like you'd put on the headset and it'd be like, like, what are you doing? Like, who are you talking to? And it's like, guys, parents, chill. Like I'm just playing games. Like, you know what I mean? Chill. It's like, you're not in VR, I am. So I kind of put it to the side like a lot, like for a while. And then I think once I got out of college, I moved into my own apartment, and some of my friends were like, hey, you have a VR headset, right? You should like get on VRChat and like hang out with us. So I did, and I was like, why don't I stream it? Because I had always like thought about streaming, but I didn't really know what I would stream. Like in anything that I tried streaming, I didn't really get any traction with, because I didn't have any like sort of train of thought with like what kind of content I would want to even do in the first place. I kind of just did random stuff, so there's no real reason for people to follow me anyway, because it was just random. But I started streaming VR every time that I got on, and I didn't do it for content. I just did it because I like to rewatch them and see what we did.
Right.
And I didn't even have chat open. Like I didn't have chat open, so people would like raid or something or send a message, and then I wouldn't see it for like 30 minutes.
Damn.
I was that streamer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the first time streamer who's just like not even paying any attention to chat whatsoever.
Yeah, I wasn't even there. I was the most noob streamer ever. Like I was the worst. And a few people, for some reason, stuck around and kept harassing me into like actually looking at my chat and like setting up alerts and like doing stuff, which I, greatly appreciate people telling me that when I was like a new streamer, because it was so like imperative for me to like actually grow and like have more people watch. And then I sort of fell into like the actual like, playing VR a lot and like streaming a lot. And then, I started to meet more people through both platforms, both, channels. So yeah. And now I'm here, and now, I'm super grateful for everything. I didn't even expect any of this, so.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that makes sense. I think it'd be kind of psychopathic if you expected to become a big streamer right out of the gate.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like, pretentious. Like, I don't think like anyone with an actual sound mind should not expect to just be making money out of the gate. It's just like not.
No, absolutely not. I did not think that I would get anywhere with it. I thought that it would be like a one and done thing, but it wound up like. It wasn't like it grew like, right away. It definitely took like, I think even like 4 months for people to even like consistently reappear in chat. It took a long time. I didn't even have affiliate for that long, I remember. And yeah, I didn't know anyone. And even my friends went look like at my stream.
Okay.
Times were tough back then.
Yeah.
But I just did it for fun, so. Which is fair.
So basically you got into VRC basically just to kind of like have privacy and just kind of like interact with people. So like what was it like aside from the Knuckles meme, what else what kind of I guess kept you into it and I guess made you like want to consider streaming? We don't want to talk about streaming just yet. We'll kind of get into that later on. But like, I guess what specifically about VRChat kind of kept you here in the first place? Like, what allured you about it? Like when you're fresh and new.
Yeah, I mean, the knuckle stuff was definitely like what got it into my head in the first place. Like that's how I ever even knew that VRChat existed, because I think it existed for like maybe 3 years before even that, but I just had no clue. But then like once I actually put on the headset and I like tried it out and I started talking to people and like interacting with people, I was like, this is like crazy. This is like something totally new. Like this is revolutionary. And like I can like, I don't know, it was just so like intriguing to me that I wanted to keep doing it. And like you could have like a totally different body and stuff. It's so crazy. It was just mind-blowing to me. And so I just kept doing it. Like I was like, I want to keep logging in and like just interacting with people.
Do you have like a year? Do you remember like the year that you first got into VRC?
I tried it for a bit in 2018, and I did a few model commissions back then from like some forum that I forget the name of. And I was super bad at commissions. That's why I don't take commissions now, because I cannot focus on them, and they took like a year each to complete. And it was a good learning experience, but back then there was no information about making avatars at all, and it was the worst. You imported the skeleton in the model and you hoped it worked, and if it didn't, then good luck. And eventually I got them to work. And yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, wait, back to your question. My brain.
It's okay.
So 2018 was that.
Right.
I stopped doing it for like, I think college and stuff, because I was focused on college. And then I came back in 2020, and that's when I started really like streaming and playing VR for like real.
Gotcha.
So.
All right. Cool. And I guess so. Let's talk a little bit more about like VRC, and I guess what was the thing that I guess what was your, when did you, well actually no, I'll ask that later on. Why, I guess, do you remember like what was VRC like for you back then? We'll go with that.
In 2018?
Yeah. Like even like I guess
well, I can talk about both times.
Yeah.
I think in 2018 my memory is very minimal from back then, but it was very chaotic. It was hard to play because it was only public instances, if I recall correctly, and you would spawn in and people would immediately start like coming up to you and like saying crazy stuff, and you would get super overwhelmed. And I didn't really have like a main avatar or anything, or a full body or anything. I just had my CV1, and I kind of just walked around with my hands and stuff and just looked at people. And I think I talked to people back then. I wasn't shy or anything, but it was very overwhelming. So that's kind of why I didn't play too much of it. And I didn't really have anyone to play it with either, so I was kind of just talking to anybody. And then in 2020, that was much nicer because of the friends that like I got to explore worlds with and stuff. So we would world hop and like try out horror maps and stuff. And there was a lot more content then in 2020. So it was mostly back then, I think, world hopping, hanging out with people, like just talking, sort of coming up with like, you know, interesting things to stream. My friend was working on a movie world that actually got really popular. Beyond Smash's anime world or whatever, I forget what it's called, but I'm in the picture in my oldest avatar. And when people will come up to me and they'll be like, "Was that you in that like that anime world?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I was there like when he was developing it. So that's always funny. But yeah, back then it was very like I didn't know anyone other than my friends, so yeah, I was very how to describe it. It would be like you just spawn into an instance and it'd be like, okay, what are we talking about, everyone? Like, I'm here to, you know, interact with you. What are we doing? And you can just go with the flow.
Right. Okay.
So,
okay.
Way less like events and like, you know, stuff that I would go to specifically back then.
Because like, yeah, because it was harder. I imagine it was harder to do events back then because like you could only have public instances, which means anyone could pop in at any given point in time. So you couldn't really have like a properly curated experience. Or you had to have bouncers there or something. Oh yeah,
2018 was it was difficult back then. But 2020 did have private instances, so it was easier to like, you know, actually hang out with people specifically then.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm relatively new to VRC myself. I only started literally last year, so you know, I'm kind of like the new guard, I suppose, when it comes to VRChat.
How do you like it?
I
Like,
think
what got you into it?
I mean, like, I think it's fucking great. Like, I am so glad to be here. Like, I made a tweet earlier today about just like how I'm just so fucking glad to be here, to be part of this like this experience of having like being a part of VR in its infancy. And this is such an exciting time for technology in terms of like the VR experience, and just being able to be surrounded by so many talented people. Like, there are so many talented people that are on this platform. It's mind blowing, and like it's like everyone
For real.
like all the people who I want to talk to and want to get to know and would ever want to interact with are on this platform. They're not out there IRL. They're here.
Yeah.
They're here.
No.
You know?
Yeah, seriously though, like all the like the most open-minded people are like on VRChat because
Yeah.
you know, I try and like tell like people that I know in person like that you should try VRChat. Like it's huge. Like you don't even understand like what you're missing. Like you're just going out there and like trying to talk to people on the street when you should be talking to people in public instances. It's way easier. You know what I mean? Like you can make friends like that. It's crazy, and then they become your IRL friends like over time, obviously. But like it's crazy how fast a friendship can develop in VRChat.
Yeah.
And like how many talented people that you meet.
Agreed. And every time someone mentions like just how fast like you know like you can create relationships and connections to people, whenever someone mentions that, I always have to kind of like you know I gotta do my little thing. Like I have to mention this little terminology. I coined this term called hyperreality. And that's like I mention this a lot in my podcast. The idea behind it is that like we are experiencing like a warped, a sped up sense of reality in which we are able to have like multiple interactions at such a high rate that it's like about, I would say 10 to 15 times faster than it is in reality. And that we can form relationships, form connections with people simply on the basis of being at the right place at the right time, or just the atmosphere being right, or just being able to or again, like there's a lot of open-minded people on this platform. So like the rate at which we can make friends and interact with people is just so much faster than it is in real life. And I think we're experiencing reality at a faster pace, and I think that can kind of skew our perception of what actual reality is. And I think that can be kind of jarring for a lot of people, psychologically speaking. What do you think about that?
It is. It's really interesting you say like a sped up sense of reality, because that's totally true. Like when I went to TCon just recently, like TwitchCon, meeting all the people that I like knew from VR was it's always so like jarring, because you'll be like hi to that person and they'll be like, who are you? Oh, like you'll both have the oh moment.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh my god, I literally know you and I've known you for like a year or two or however long, and then you just like hug each other and you just know each other. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in person. Like that makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it takes so long to get that close. Yeah.
Yeah, the time in which you can get close to someone in VR is like it's narrowed. It's like you can get close to someone very, very quickly in this space, which is like I don't know what it is about it, but I don't know. I guess like if I had to really like kind of put words to it, it's like you're able to like, I guess there's like a collective sense of like we're all on this platform to kind of interact with each other. So because we all are kind of we're all collectively agreeing to be here at the same time.
Yeah.
So like yeah,
that makes sense.
So like if we're at the same event, for example, we're collectively agreeing to be here at the same time,
Yeah,
which
we
already
literally
gives us
want to like be talking to each other.
Exactly.
Already. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting, and that's true.
Yeah. So like I like that. I like that idea of like being in a state where like you can make friends, and like I literally last week I met two people that I've never met before. Through a friend of mine, and I'm now hanging out with like one of those people. Like I've hung out with them like last week, and I'll be hanging out with them like this week too. And it's just like we're already like we're hitting it off. It's good. It's a good vibe. Like you're enjoying the music, you're going to events. And like there's something going on in VRC at all times of the day. You literally cannot be on this platform without there's something going on, because it is a global platform.
There's
of like
24 hours of stuff happening. Always.
Exactly, and that's mind blowing. Like when you really kind of conceptualize that idea, it's just it doesn't like there's nothing quite like it. And like I do want to kind of ask you about like the idea of like, you know, this being like you said that like that this kind of social experience on VRChat is new. I would argue that it's not as new as what we think. And I say that because, like, if you think about it, VRChat is just another version of what instant messaging used to be. It's another version of what IMVU or Second Life used to be. We can embody the avatars rather than being in like a third person state on those platforms. Instead of using text or usernames to connect with each other, we're talking not just to the username but to a person face to face. We can see their mouth moving in almost real time.
Yeah.
And like, but it's an advance. It's like the next stage of like social interaction. That's what I think this is. I don't think it's that new. It just seems new because we have these toasters on our faces, and like, it's just technology continues to improve. So what do you think about that?
Yeah. I guess no, you're totally right. I guess what I meant to sort of say was that the level is new. Like there's a new level of the interaction that we can have where like you could be like a mute and just have body language. That's like unheard of before VRChat. That makes no sense to people who didn't know that, like, before VRChat existed. That makes no sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you told me, but when I was a kid, that people would just be like little VR people just wiggling around, I'd be like, what the f- are you talking about? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
What? It's so cool. And like we're missing like the facial like micro movements, but still like the fact that you can talk to somebody like face to face and like make gestures that sort of match what you're feeling it's just like crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah, it is. Like, and I agree. Like I'm like, again, every day that I'm like a part of this community and just a part of this collective experience, I'm so lucky. I'm so glad that I'm here, and I'm so happy to be here. It's wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild to me.
And I've made like so many more like lasting friends from here than ever in person. Like so many in-person friendships have just faded out because we moved apart. But like in VRChat, it's like somebody who I met years ago could just DM me out of nowhere and be like, hey, what's up? Like, I miss you. Like, what's going on? And it's back to how it was. It's just crazy. It doesn't fade out because it was never based on like location and like what we did together in person ever, you know?
Yeah, I agree. It's like compared to maintaining IRL friendships to maintaining VRChat friendships, I would say it's a lot more close knit. But I also think because of like this state of like hyper reality that we're all constantly living in, I think the ability for friendships to break are a lot more dramatic, and sometimes dramatic,
true,
painful. Yeah. I think it's. You got the close knit, and then you have like the dramaticness of breaking off. Because not only do you like lose the friendship, you lose like everything else. Yeah. Because like then you have to like avoid the people and stuff. You know, it's you can't go to the same events, or like you can, but it's just like fuck. I was.
It's awkward. Yeah.
Yeah. So like it does like VRChat has the potential to be really, really awesome for a lot of people, but it's when like friendships or relationships get messy. That's when VRChat becomes kind of like this thing that's less fun and less interesting for a lot of people. It's unfortunate, but it's just the nature of, again, living in this sped up version of reality. It sucks, but it's also really, really fucking cool, all in all.
Yeah. I do think that derives from the fact that it's very like new and like pioneerish sort of. It feels like we're in some kind of pioneer era where people don't know how to regulate anything and nobody knows what's going on. We're kind of just doing it as it comes, and you know the social implications are very like nobody really knows. It's hard to manage because it's so new.
Yes.
Like it's not new, but it's new.
Yeah. I get what you mean. Like the means by which we are interacting and integrating in this social sphere is new, but the whole thing of like socializing, not so much. But being in this space, and like how it continues to evolve and just be awesome, is very, very new. And like speaking of like
all of in person compacted in one space. Like everything's all in the same space. So it's hard if you can't avoid stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because like we naturally gravitate towards like one or two people, and then we meet those people in those circles. So we kind of get integrated into those circles, and then we meet even more people, and then like I always see it.
Yeah.
I always see our interactions of like you yourself, like you and I. We're like in the same circles, but like you're like in an outer circle. Like you're like one circle, like you're like one step of separation from me in that regard. Because like VR gang is like, you know, there's association, there's circles of people that we kind of know, and that's how you get to know people. So like when shit goes south, then you have to worry about all of the other people involved in those circles and things. But thankfully, I've been very, very lucky. I keep my track record clean, and I've been having a really fucking great time. I've been on this platform for a year and a half, and I get to do shit like this, and it's been really, really awesome. Yeah. So speaking of like how people interact on this platform and being new, what do you think about how people interact on this platform? Like, I guess based on the people that you have met, like in public worlds, do you think that there is like do you think that there is either like a lack of, or perhaps maybe an improvement of people who know how to be socially, I guess, as socially aware? Let's say that. Like, let me try to word this a different way. Like, do you find that people are mostly socially inept, or mostly socially aware? In most cases, like, what do you think?
Oh, inept, easily inept. Like, yeah. I think I don't want to say inept. I think it's more like you get the whole range of people,
right,
all right in front of you.
That's a better way of putting it.
So you can't like, yeah. So you can talk to anyone, and then you don't know their level of like have they gone on like interviews? Have they gone to college? Like, did they, do high school? Like, you have no clue what anybody's done or how many interactions that they've even had in person, like IRL. So like everyone's level of social, like just knowledge is like, you don't know until you start to actually talk to them. But that's what makes it interesting, I think, is that sometimes you get people who are like way above your level and you just don't understand anything they're saying. They're just talking all this like gibberish because they're just so smart, and you're like, what's going on? I don't just say like I'm 5. And then there's some people who are like, holy moly, like I want you to be better. I'm going to help you. Like, this is what you should not do. I'm helping. You know what I mean? And I think that's good. I think it's a good thing. Because, it's a good learning experience for everyone. Because if you're too smart and you can't talk like to the regular people, you should learn that. But if you're like a little bit, you haven't had as many interactions in person, like it's good for you to like talk to people and like get to know like how you should interact with people and what's good and what's bad. Yeah. So I think VR overall helps people a lot.
Yeah. I agree with that. I do think that VRChat, I typically kind of get into this topic with a couple people that I have on the podcast. I generally agree with the idea that VRChat has the ability to help people to learn how to interact better. Just kind of, it opens up people to different levels of thinking, different kinds of people, like you said. There's like everyone is on different levels of thought, and I guess that does make things a little bit more interesting. And like, do you have you noted any other particular ways that you've noticed that VRChat has helped you or helped other people? It could be outside
I can
socializing,
talk about how I've like changed. Yeah. Well, I mean, it definitely got me out of my shell a lot. Like, if you watch like a lot of my older VODs, I've recorded every single VOD that I've ever done ever since I started, like separately from Twitch, and it's very different how I used to be. Like, I was very chill and like relaxed, and like I would be kind of shy almost. And that's like, I was way more shy before college, and then I got out of my shell in college, but then I was still kind of like not how I am now. Like, I couldn't, like, if you like this right now would probably have made me like really anxious, even though like, I shouldn't be anxious because we're just hanging out basically. But I being able to like interact with so many people and like, learn what is like how to stream well, and like how to talk to people well, and manage my own time and stuff like that, like really changed me and like I think got me out of my shell and like a more open-minded and stuff. And there was a lot of things that I didn't get to experience in person that I got to experience in VR, or people like opened my eyes to it. And I think it's, you know, improved my life a lot. So yeah, I think that is probably the same for a lot of people. When they first get on VR, they're very like, you know, they might be mute or something because they don't really know who to talk to, or they're shy or whatever, which is fine. I wasn't really mute, but I was still shy. And I didn't even know that like muting was something that people would do the full time, like definitely never speak, you know what I mean? And type. I didn't even think of that. And then they wind up getting out of their shells and like, you know, or unmuting, or maybe not. And then that's the kind of content they want to do. And it's interesting how people like learn about themselves in VR.
Yeah, I there's a certain kind of like, because of how fast we can have these interactions with the people in this hyper reality, I think people learn how to, I guess, because they have these moments of like connection with people, they learn how to like get out of their shells, like you said, because they can interact with so many different kinds of people at such a high rate, and it's like it allows them to kind of have, they can figure out who they are. They can find the subgroup that they belong in. They can find like where they fit, where they meld. Whether it's like a raver, or it's like the mute community, or like the LGBT community, LGBTQ community. Like they find where they sit, where they land, and that can help them to get clarity on what things that they may not have been able to figure out so easily IRL, because society, you know, demands people to act a certain way or to think a certain way. And I think VRChat really allows people to think differently, to think outside the box. And like you said, there's a lot of open-minded people on this platform, which I really, really fucking like. And I think that's why I like it so much. That's why I'm so excited to be doing what I'm doing here, because it's so vibrant. The level of creativity and personality is just, it's so vibrant here.
Yeah, and crazy lore drop, but VRChat made me like I didn't have very much like interactions with like trans people before VRChat. But then when I got on VRChat, like I got to meet more trans people and like understand like that viewpoint, and even question if I was trans, which was interesting. But ultimately I realized like I think I'm more like gender fluid-ish, because I like the avatar, but I also like just being like male, like in person.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really crazy how much you can like think about like your own approach to how you're living, because I didn't even think of any of that before. Like I just was never exposed to it.
Do you think that that VRChat kind of because like we can meet all these different kinds of people, do you think that it could be a little bit, it could be a little bit too overwhelming, and that, you know, it may cause people to like, I mean, I guess on any platform there's a tendency to want to like fit in, and I think that may cause people to maybe think that they are something that perhaps they are not. But there are some benefits to like just experiencing different kinds of people and interacting with them. Do you think that because it's so easy to find people of different walks of life, like people who are trans, people who are gender fluid, do you think there's a danger of perhaps, you know, being exposed to something a little bit too much, like not even in terms of like gender. Let me use a different example, like just the rave culture, where it's you drink alcohol and everyone's drinking and cheersing and all that. Yeah. Like do you think that like it can be good for people to fit in, but do you think the problem? Yeah.
You can. I definitely think you can be very easily exposed to too much of something at once, and you don't know if it's like the thing that you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, like if everyone's cheersing you, should you be drinking alcohol? If everyone is like trans, like, are you trans? You know what I mean? Like you start thinking like you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, because it's so much all at once, depending on where you go. So I definitely think so. And it takes a lot of introspection to like understand what your standards are and like what you believe in and what you're doing. It makes you think a lot. I think that's good though. I think overall it's good. It's overwhelming, but it's good.
Yeah, I would agree that overall, what VRChat adds, what can add to a person's life is very, very good. overall. There are some not great points, and like is there anything on VRChat that you think could be improved on, or that you wish would change? And then one thing that you really like about VRChat.
Like VRChat as a platform, I feel like I don't want to get too like passionate of what I was saying, but I think the developers are they're like where they're going is sort of not what they don't their vision is sort of off. Like I feel like when it comes to like, you know, creative tools and like how easy it should be to like, you know, create new stuff for the platform, I think could be better. Maybe moderation of like, you know, how things happen and go down in the platform could be better. Like, you know, there's not a single like cop anywhere, but it's just like in person, you know what I mean? Not that it should be, but I'm saying like it's still feels very new to me. Where it feels like everyone's sort of like, okay, we have a spot that is sort of like IRL and we can host events in it, but like, you know, video players barely work every other week. Like they fix it and then it breaks again and it fixes it, you know what I mean? Like it's very like yeah, I don't know, pioneering is just the only way that I can say it, and I'm sure the devs are doing their best. You know, nobody's perfect, but yeah, there's so much potential in VRChat, I think, that is not there yet.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for that to happen.
And one thing that you like, or that you particularly like appreciate about VRChat?
I definitely appreciate like just how much happens in it. There's always something to do. There's always new people to talk to. The friendship that it provides is crazy. Like it's unparalleled. Like how many friends I've been able to make in like here, and then they become real, which is what I mentioned already. But I appreciate like the socialization aspect of it like a lot. I you know, I like creating stuff for it, but I think overall, like, you know, social, like streaming and all that kind of stuff is definitely what I like the most.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely get behind that. So basically, you're I would say what you're saying is, just to make sure that I understand, like you're saying like the thing that you think could be improved on in VRC is just the fact that it's still just very new, that like the technology, the way things work on the platform is still just kind of in, like I consider it to be in its infancy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's...
It feels like it's in its infancy, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, where we could go, like, 5 to 10 years from now is like, thinking about that is very, very exciting. But, like, where we are at this point is just not quite... We're not quite there yet.
The potential is very high. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. Okay. So speaking of technology, I know I don't know, because I'm just getting to know you. So like, I would assume that you are very much in touch with technology and like the general advancements in like VR and AR, augmented reality, for those who don't know what AR is. So like, I guess, can you give us like your basic thoughts about where you think technology is going, where you think VR is going, and how that may kind of fall into like the mixed reality sector, like where Vision Pro is looking to aim, and like just where you think things are going to be going in general? Like where do you think it's going to evolve to?
I definitely think that the mainstream user base is leaning towards like mixed reality stuff, where like you can see your environment and then have overlays and stuff in it, and like, you know, just, you know, VR sort of content but in your space. I do wish that VR was taken more seriously. I feel like a lot of people, like normal people are very afraid to express themselves, and that they stray away from VR because like full body VR is very expressive, and it just sort of just doxes like your whole movement and body, and like, you know what I mean? And it's uncomfortable, I think, for most people, and they're just not really willing to do it. And most people, like, they're very, you know, reserved, and they don't want to share like their interests with the regular people. I think a lot of people in VR are very just open about like who they are and what they really care about. So I do wish that VR was taken more seriously, but you know, I mean, as long as the technology is improving, you know, I think that it's good that it even exists at all. So yeah, I think that it'll naturally happen over time. Like eventually, mixed reality will be like perfect, and then it'll be like, okay, what else do we do? You know, VR. You know what I mean? So it'll get there.
Do you particularly like the idea of mixed VR? Because my personal opinion about it is that like I think it's a great idea. But I don't know, like I kind of, it's just like I think it kind of I don't know, I guess if I think of like an example if I think like in a way of like, okay, if I have a friend that I know in VR and like I want to hang out with them, having them like in my apartment, like having them hang out in my apartment, but it's just fully like, it's like they're in their VR avatar, but they're in my apartment in that VR avatar. I guess there's some kind of validity to mixed reality in that regard. Kind of like it helps kind of like bridge the gap for a lot of people. But I do think that mixed reality is kind of, I don't know. I think it's kind of like I wouldn't say a cop out, but like an adaptation for like the normies, you know, for people who are uncomfortable with being fully immersed. So like what do you think about its application, like mixed reality as in its application of it? Do you think it's just for the normies?
That's exactly my point. I feel like it's not like, I'm not really sure where it comes from, but I think like corporate, like people who are able to develop the stuff that is for like the normies, I think that their just sites are just not, they don't know, like, you know, they're not the people who are actually using the headsets, so they're kind of just guessing based on like, you know, why is anybody hyped about VR headsets at all, you know? And they don't know. And I think that's where it comes from. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question, I guess, my brain, but yeah.
Well, so you're okay. So I guess like like you're saying that like people can't see the benefits of VR, so to kind of have that extra appeal to like kind of get the technology into the hands of people who are like generally uncomfortable with like the idea of full body and full immersion, that mixed reality is just kind of the adaptation in between to kind of just like, I guess, have the technology get more in the hands of the people. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think
that's what it is. They're trying to make it more like ease people into like the VR stuff, because it's like you still see the real environment, but there's like a little bit of extra stuff added to it, and it's like easing people in. I also think that a lot of people get motion sick, so that might be also a problem with it.
That's funny that you say that.
The rest of us are just built different.
Yeah. Like so when I first like the first 2 times I went into VRC, I got motion sick. Not so much that I couldn't stand, but I definitely felt like just moving around like the controllers and stuff, and just like the idea of just moving in this space, it can be very jarring like the first couple of times. But after like the 3rd time, I was fine. I didn't have to take any medication or anything.
Yeah, your brain just has to get used to it.
Yeah, it just kind of recalibrates to the whole idea of it. Did you have to go through that at all?
I don't think so, and if I ever did, I don't remember. I think I was so dead set on liking VR, I just didn't even think about it. I was like, am I nauseous? I don't care. Like, I'm still using this shit. Yeah, so.
Yeah. There was another question that I wanted to ask you about, like when it comes to like normies using this kind of technology. What was it? Like. So, I think that... God, I don't remember. Okay, that's fine. So...
If you remember later.
Yeah, I'll see about remembering later on. But, yeah, alright, so I don't recall. So we were talking about VR and AR and how that all kind of plays into, like the general interaction of using this technology. What do you think? What do you think will win out in the end? Do you think ultimately we will all end up in VR, or do you think there'll always be that mixed reality aspect of it? Because I honestly think it would be pretty cool to be able to like keep the headset or the goggles on or whatever, keep those on while being able to like switch to mixed reality. in order to like, you know, kind of like wander around, like you'd be like, okay, I need to go to the bathroom or whatever.
Yeah.
But you don't have to take all, you don't have to
yeah.
like, you don't have to get rid of everything. You just flip it
Take
on.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. I think that has
I
some
think that'll
application.
be more like common if like the headsets can be like lighter and the controllers can be less bulky and stuff. Yeah, because then it'd be just convenient to just keep it on. But I don't think that VR will ever become like just the thing, like we'll plug into the Matrix or something. Because there's always going to be people who don't want to, you know, they just want to be like in a natural state, like separated from technology, which I fully understand because you don't, you know, if you're giving yourself away to like technology, like, you know, technology is not reliable. So I don't blame them.
That is true.
So I don't think that'll ever happen.
Yeah, like
And if it does, I will. That's crazy.
Like so like being fully plugged in, I think a perfect example of what it would be like to like give yourself over to technology would be like, I always like to bring up this example. I think it's a fun thought exercise about Sword Art Online. I'm sure you're familiar. The idea of like full dive technology and like how invasive that entire concept is, like literally having to scan your entire body by using like biometrics and like essentially like you're having lasers and like some sort of like x-rays like taking copies of your brain in order to like to I guess to like what is it to have the illusion of like getting punched in like the chest, or like, you know, like having someone like touch you, or like having those like directly having your five senses plugged into the technology itself, which, like you said, technology is not reliable. So so that would be like my thinking of like fully like immersing like and like engaging yourself with technology. What do you think about that? Do you think that that's like do you think that will ever be possible? Are you interested in that sort of kind of full dive like concept? Obviously, I don't think it'll ever happen because it's too invasive.
Yeah.
It's too dangerous as a concept. But like, what do you think?
I definitely think that it's possible. Like, nothing's impossible. I think it's probably really far off. Like, actually, because if you did like a full dive, you'd have to like take over the neurons that control like sight.
Yes.
And every sense. That's terrifying.
Yes.
Like, what the heck? So yeah, I don't think that that's like ever really gonna actually happen. Like the Matrix or whatever, like Code Lyoko-ing our ass into the Matrix. I don't think that's gonna happen. But I definitely think it's possible, and it might eventually happen if, you know, we don't destroy the planet before that it happens. But, you know, whatever. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I definitely think that the future has a lot of opportunity still left to do new things. We're just not there yet.
Do you have any like personal desires, that things that you'd like to see come to pass in the coming years? Something that you would like to see happen with VR, augmented reality?
I mean, I've been very vocal about just wanting like a nice headset that just has a nice mic and good earphones that are off ear, because I don't want to like sweat into them, and eye tracking. Like, I'm very like, that's all I want. Like right now, I don't want anything too crazy past that, because that's all possible right now. Maybe just a lighter headset, more convenient. It'd be nice if instead of trackers we could put on like a suit or something. That's probably too much setup for people. I don't know. I'm just very like, you know, whatever new tech comes, I want to just try it, you know. I'm very open and interested in that kind of stuff, and I'd like to try and develop tech on my own if I can at some point, if I, you know, am able to. But right now I'm kind of just focusing on getting by, so.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you have fandom sense?
I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't think I do. People will try it on me, and I'm kind of just like, I mean, I try, because it's very, but like I can make it happen, but it's not really. It takes a lot of effort, and I have to like think about it a lot, and it's not. I don't know. Probably not really.
I like that you're very kind of like chill and relaxed about the whole thing. Like I was when I first found out that fandom sense was even a thing, I was so jealous. So jealous of everyone who could have that, because like for me, for me, like having that sort of like that kind of immersive feel, like where like, you know, you can actually like feel someone touching you. I think that's really cool. Like to be able to like to have that full experience.
Yeah, I do have phantom sense like around like my head, sort of like head pad area, sort of like right here. I can like sort of feel that pretty intensely. But other than that, like not really. And I'm not super jealous about it because like, you know, if people were, you know, people are they're more touchy in VR than they are in person, which is, you know, valid because, you know, we're not tangible. But yeah, I'm not too upset about it. I guess it's nice to be able to just be like, whoa, you just phased through there, buddy. You should not do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
So if you could have it, would you want it?
I don't know. That's an interesting question. Sure, I'll take it. Why not?
Okay.
I think it's like, cause I mean I can make it happen. Like I know what it's like. It's very. I think it comes down to like how imaginative you can be and how in focus you are with like what's happening on your body. I feel like for me it's like I know that I'm like it's like horror maps, which is very different from what the topic is. But if I go into a horror map in VR, I like can look through the nose hole and I'm like okay, I'm fine. And anything that could happen in VR does not do anything to me.
Yeah, because your brain registers that
like,
you're not quite there. Yeah.
I think my brain is like way too like not imaginative. I think where I'm not anything that I'm seeing or like you know hearing, and in VR it's just it doesn't register to me as real. Even though it can look very real and look like it would feel real, but yeah. So I don't know. It's just how my brain's wired, I guess.
Gotcha. So, do you think that like this is kind of another thought exercise that I like to kind of ask people who I have on the podcast. Like, do you think that that they're just like, do you think that there's some connection with like you said, like you're mentioning like being imaginative. Like in my case, I on average don't have phantom sense, but there are specific times where I'm fully engaged and just kind of like. I'm just chill, and I can actually kind of like I'm not thinking, and like I can feel it, like, and it's really really nice. But do you think that some people are just, you know, just some people's brains are like, I guess I want to say wired differently, but I think that's such a lame way of describing it. Do you just think that some do you think that there's kind of more to it of like just like do you think there will be there? I want to believe that there is a way to initiate phantom sense for everyone, but it just kind of comes down to one's perception, and how much willing to like I guess what's the word? Suspend disbelief, I guess, to some degree.
Yeah, you have to like let yourself go, and, like you have to become the cat girl. You know, you have to be the person.
Yeah.
And I think there are moments where it's like that, where like I'm playing VR and I forget that I have like a headset on and stuff, and like that's most of the time. Like I don't see like the goggles around, you know, the black part. You can see it if you think about it, but it's like your nose. Like you don't see it when you're just playing and like looking around and stuff. And you know, I think that there's just levels to that, where it's like if you really like just believe everything and like, oh my god, this is my leg. Like, you know, I think you can learn phantom sense and like actually start to like, you know, feel it more often, but you know, it takes investment to like think that way. I think for different levels of investment for different people.
Yeah. What I've heard is like the more time you spend in VR, the more likely you are to kind of develop it. I've heard from a number of my guests that it can be trained. And I'm actually like I'm inclined to believe them because the point recently where I felt phantom sense, I had been in VR more times during like last week I was in VRC, like more than I had ever had in 1 week in a very long time. Like I was in VRC 4 out of like the 7 days, which never really happens for me. So it was like, I guess I was like more like I guess kind of in tune with like the whole experience of like just hanging out with people and just like being here in the moment and just being kind of present. So like I guess it can kind of be trained possibly, but yeah, I think some people like I always think that maybe I'm just like I've lived too much, or like I've been in reality for too long or something like that kind of like put me
I'm not really sure what it is.
Yeah, it's something I've been very curious about, and like something I would really like to research. Like, is there a way to kind of trick the brain to like having like a full experience where one can develop phantom sense after a period of time? Like, how can one train that? Like have a system for that. I think it'd be an interesting thing to research, but you know, I don't have time for that sort of thing.
Dink donk, we need research papers stat. We're
Yeah.
like literally in the pioneer era. Dink donk, where are researchers? Dink donk.
We need more people who are willing to like look into like the intricacies of that people are experiencing VRChat. Because like, again, we are very early, but there's so much here very early on already that when by the time we're like deep into the future, like there's gonna be so much to kind of figure out, and so many things for like humans to get used to. Like the whole experience of being in VRC is going to be so much different, especially like when like full body becomes like a ubiquitous thing. Do you think that will be?
I hope so. I really think that full body changes the experience like very dramatically. Like I can't do half body anymore. If I go half body, it's like I must be dead. You know, like I'm just so tired I just don't even care.
Yeah.
Because I would rather just desktop and have like really good frames and see everything, or I'd rather just be fully immersed. Like it's either or for me. So I hope that other people who don't even think like have no VR on their brain at all right now eventually get to experience that. And like, cause I tried putting my mom in VR one time. I was like, Mom, like I have all the base stations, like all the trackers and stuff, like try it. And she was so like confused. Like, I don't know. I still to this day don't really know how she really felt about it. Cause she would like look in the mirror and she'd be like, what the heck? And she had to take it off because she got motion sickness. But it's really interesting how people first react to it, and they have the VR is not on their brain at all. It's crazy how they react.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that VR is similar to like what social media was for a lot of us. Like we didn't realize exactly what social media would do to our brains. Like once we were exposed to it, like with like constant like videos on YouTube. Like different people, like different ideas just readily available on Twitter, like people like using filters and shit on Snapchat and Instagram, like that shit like fucks with you, like, but that wasn't a thing that we had.
Did. Yeah, change like the course of just like the future with like the internet and being able to access things across the world. Like there was so much happening across the world that nobody even knew how it's happening because the news of it was so slow. But now it's instant. Like you see stuff on TikTok as it's happening, and the news outlets can't even keep up. They can't. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I think VR is the same way. Like our brains are not like built for VR, but like we are like the people those of us who are in VRC and you know kind of experiencing this now in a very social, like very engaging way. We're like the test subjects for it all, which is kind of like wild to like consider. I seriously feel like we're like dial up to internet. We're in VR. It's like we're the dial up of VR. True. Yeah, it is.
We wait for the beep boop boop boops in the loading screens and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a great way of putting it. Like very very like early internet. Now this is early VR. And it's gonna be super exciting to see where it all goes. I'm very much looking forward to it for sure. But let's talk about the work that you do, like the things that you do creatively. Let's talk about your creative work. So let's start where I think you'll be most excited to talk about, JaxTools.
Okay.
So tell us about JaxTools.
Okay, JaxTools is a like avatar development toolkit that I made and I'm still making to speed up avatar development, like just as quickly as possible. Because whenever I try to make an avatar, I honestly don't like it. I like making the stuff in like, you know, Blender or 3ds Max or whatever 3D program, and then putting it into Unity, and then the rest of it is very like redundant. Like I'm doing the same repetitive work over and over for every avatar, and I'm making little toggles in the same complex way, you know, like setting up like colliders and stuff. When, you know, from a programmer's perspective, I should be able to just click a button, and then a lot of this is just auto-calculated. Like there's so much. I can just say like, I want that toggled, I want that to slide this way, and we're done. And I want you to just set up everything else for me because I already set it up in, you know, my 3D program. And so many people have said to me, like, that's not possible in Unity, is it? Well, it's not, but it could be if somebody programmed it. And there's lots of programmers out there who are making specific tools very specifically for certain things, which is, I always appreciated. But as time, goes on and I'm trying to make stuff with all those tools, you have to import them in every single project, and like, you have to make sure you have the most up-to-date one and that it's compatible and with each other, and you have to learn how to use each one. It's very it's overwhelming. So I started to make JaxTools because I wanted it to just be the quickest process possible. Like, I want it to be like, here's the model and done, and I'm importing it. Next model, like I want it to be like a production line where Unity's not even something that I even think about. And I think that a lot of people think that's nuts, but I really don't think that Unity even needs to be much of a step at all with the right tool. So that's what my vision is.
Okay, so JaxTools is basically a simplified way of streamlining the avatar creation process by automating certain aspects of like adjusting aspects of an avatar, no matter what avatar it is. And it simplifies the process, also the exporting process as well. Is that about right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, all in one like major tool. So you just import that and then you're good to go. And it handles pretty much as it can for you. I mean, obviously there's creative choices that you have to do on your own, but most of the redundant, repetitive stuff should be done by the tool, which is, what I'm trying to do. And it's a lot of work. Like, it's been so much work to be able to do that.
Yeah, I imagine.
Auto calculating stuff means that I have to know all the edge cases for every avatar and calculate stuff. Like, it's so much work, but I think it's going to be worth it in the end. And I think it's going to really exponentiate the amount of avatars that people can import, and the creativity levels will probably go up, I think. Because if you look at any popular avatar creator now, they release maybe an avatar every 3 weeks at fastest. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be way faster if we take out the Unity step. I think it could be way faster. Like, they could assemble the model in a 3D program, and then you're good, and then move on to the next one. Like, I could be like an assembly line. And it's all creative at that point, because you're just focusing on the creative stuff and not the boring dev stuff,
So can you give us an example of because to me, in my mind, for someone who has very little experience with Unity, very, very little, I don't I have to actually relearn how to export an avatar because I've totally forgotten how to do it. I did it once and I've forgotten already, because Unity is just so overwhelming as a application in general. So can you give us an example of what JaxTools simplifies? Can you kind of walk us through an example of what it does?
Yeah, I mean, for example, making a toggle. A lot of times people who are just starting making avatars, how the fuck do you make a toggle? You know what I mean? It's not like you just click the mesh and say, okay, this is going to toggle, and then it's done. You have to program it. You have to go in the animator and be like, okay, here's the state for on, here's the state for off. I need to make an idle state so that it doesn't, go naked when it first spawns in and the first frame or whatever, blah, 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 blah. It's so, you have to know all the nuances, and then you have to remember the nuances. And especially if you want to add crazy effects the geometry explode or some kind of all kinds of stuff. A lot of that is very straightforward, but you have to know how to that it's straightforward in the first place. And I want to take away that memory you have to have. I want to make it just very straightforward. Here's what you should do, and then you just do it, and then it's it holds your hand. And right now it's not it's very geared towards people who already have the vision of what they need to be doing, and then they click the button to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where in the future, I want it to be very okay, you have your avatar, here's what you should do, and it'll tell you a recommended steps, and it'll guide you through it. And then at the end of that, you'll be able to do more advanced stuff, I don't know, add a bow and arrow or something, because it's not gonna make you a bow and arrow for you, because that's very creative, And then you can upload it. But otherwise, a lot of avatar stuff is okay, it's got a blink, it's got a toggle like a shirt, it's very straightforward stuff. So a lot of that is what I'm trying to automate right now.
Okay, so to kind of put that in, kind of like I guess simplify that even more so, like so basically it's a preset that you can press that allows you to essentially like make toggle, and then you can kind of adapt.
But it's not a hard-coded preset.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard coded, but there's a lot of options. Like for example, like for like panda base, like which is what one type of like body type that is very popular for avatars. Like you could set up colliders once on that, and then you could save a preset for that to like a JSON file, which is just a type of text file.
Right.
And then you could load it in later for any new avatar, and you can make all sorts of your own presets or load in like presets that I could provide just by default. So like it's not like it's just compatible with avatars. We would make it compatible. But yeah, like it's mostly just trying to automate repetitive stuff, like making a toggle. There's only so many ways you can do it. So yeah, that kind of stuff is what I want to automate.
Okay. And how did you get into? I know you mentioned earlier that you used to do commissions back in the day. This is like even before like technology was as good as it is now. Like the technology for like making avatars wasn't as, I guess, readily available as it is now. And we have a lot of like documentation on how to do that like really well now, because it's enough people have done it that people just know how to do it and know how to like troubleshoot and things like that. So how did you get into this in the first place?
That's a good question. I think back then, if I recall, I was looking for ways to make money that wasn't like a typical like 9 to 5, because everyone was like egging me on to like, you should get like a summer job or whatever while you're at school and like blah blah blah. And I was like, well, we have the internet. Like there's so many new ways to get money. Yeah. Like why don't I try that? Like I have model making skills because I have done that before with other things that I had tried out. So I was like, why don't I try this? And VRChat was something that I was aware of, so I was like, what, people like avatars, why don't I try doing that? And I sort of researched like what websites people were doing commissions on, and I found one, and I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, I posted on there, and some people came to me with their ideas, and I was like, okay, I can try those out. Or I posted on their boards, and I was like, I can try to do this for you, and they're like, okay. And then I gave them a quote, and took way too long, but I did it eventually.
What did you quote them for? Just
it was a good learning experience.
Yeah, just for shits and giggles. Like, what did you quote them for? Like, because it was like, was it your first
back
one?
Then,
was it your first one? Like, wait, you said you would do something for someone, but you had never done it before?
Yeah. Well, back then there was no like marketplace for avatar parts at all, so I was modeling stuff from scratch.
In
and
Blender?
I think I quoted each person like, yeah.
No.
Or I didn't. I used 3ds Max, and I've always used 3ds Max, but yeah. Yeah, so I would quote them like $300. I think it was $300 for each one, just for a full ass avatar, just fully modeled from scratch. So that was a good time. It was not worth that.
Yeah,
it was way more work than it was worth.
Right.
But yeah.
So basically, just a way you just wanted to make money. You're looking for an alternative of a 9 to 5, and so now that you've quit your job, but you don't take commissions now. So like. How I guess it kind of ties in. I guess JaxTools ties into the avatar creation aspect. You're not, well, I mean, you're making your own avatars, but you're using your own personal creations as an example to justifying people purchasing JaxTools.
Yeah. It's sort of like a dual marketing kind of thing, because like I can make stuff with it, and also advertise that I did use JaxTools to make it, which is cool. But I it's been a crazy learning experience for me though, because I get so distracted when I'm making avatars, and I'm like, I can just automate this. Then I automate it, and I've just turned it into like a 1 month problem instead of like a 1 hour repetitive process to do each time. So I have, I've been more focused on JaxTools, which hasn't been making it as much money as I've hoped it would eventually make. But it's been ramping up. It just takes a lot of advertising. So I have to do like marketing pushes. Yeah. And I need documentation, I think, to really help sell people on it.
Yeah. I like, God, wow. A part of me was just like, you need documentation?
there needs to be documentation.
Yeah,
it's so much work though. I've program it all and then write documentation.
Yeah.
And publish like a website for it too. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, again, in the back of my mind, like I used to do that sort of thing. Like a lot of what I used to do, like for work was like I used to do technical writing. So I have experience in like writing documentation, creating documentation for like different companies. Like I've even helped write a standard operation procedure for one company that I worked for at a time. So I was like, Jax needs some help, maybe I can help. But then I'm like, I have all this other shit. I got all this other shit that I need to do. So
yeah, no, you don't want to sign up for this. I can already tell you. You're probably busy enough.
Yeah. But I mean, well, it's a thought. But like I understand what you mean. Like I know, I'm sure. I've seen your advertising on Twitter and everything like that. Like there's I think you're doing pretty well. Like a lot of people know who you are. Like I've seen your advertising. Like you're very like heavily advertising it. Like about like I mean 2 months ago. So I saw the stuff.
Yeah.
I was watching, but yeah, I'm surprised. I figured like people would be down for that sort of thing. But I guess what do you think? I mean, aside from documentation, do you think there is something specific that is kind of like that people like need to, I guess, be reassured of, or that without a shadow of a doubt that's missing?
I could probably tell you what it is. People need like the proof, I think. They need like where I can have an avatar in Unity and it's like a video, which is probably just no caption at all, and I just import it and I click like a button or something, a couple buttons, and then I just export it. Like that's the kind of proof that I think people need to see, where it's like very straightforward and it's like I'm not like hiding anything. And a lot of the times when I'm doing like a marketing push where I like make a tweet or whatever, I've just finished like a really big feature and like I know it's gonna work, and like if people sign up to try and use it, I'm not like lying to them because it's still very beta. Like there's a lot of stuff that doesn't work, but I want to be able to be confident in like what I'm like telling people that they're gonna be able to get from it. And because it's like paid, like I want people to know like they're getting worth out of it. Mm-hmm. And there's been a lot of people who have like consistently like paid for it every month, which I'm very grateful for. But they're very I think trusting in like the process, I think right now. Because it's still in beta, and like there's like only like I think a 7-week trial, which is like new because Patreon, like I think I just realized that was a thing. So I made that like you can use it for like I think 7 days, but yeah, I just need to like really show people what it can do. And like right now it's sort of like when I'm developing it, I can't really do that because it's like, I'm still working on the stuff that I'm going to show off. So, and I already showed off things that do work. So.
Mm-hmm. And like, I know you said you need documentation, but have you considered the possibility of like instead of like actually like writing out the documentation, but rather just do videos, just do like examples like this is how you do this, this is how you do that. Like I think those would be helpful too.
Yeah, I did post one video which is still pinned on my Twitter, which has I also reposted it on YouTube, which has blown up more than any other videos that I've posted, which is good. I think people are discovering it from YouTube specifically, which is really interesting. I don't know how many people have actually subscribed from YouTube, but people are definitely interested. But I do think that posting more videos would be good. I just want to be confident in like when I'm actually recording, so that's probably why I've held off, where I'm still very in development. Once it's like more close to out of beta, I really want to ramp up like less development, more documentation and videos, And like Poyomi is a really good reference for how to do it well, because his website is very like straightforward. It has every feature that you could possibly need to look at on it, and he has videos for each feature. Yeah. And I'm sure that was so much work. Like there's so much stuff that he's posted, and I'm sure that he's like suspended a lot of development time to just do that. But I do feel like Poyomi is very stable at this point, so I need to reach that point.
Yeah, Poyomi is definitely like kind of the go-to at this point, for like your avatar creation needs. Like it's ubiquitous with like avatar creation these days, from what I've noticed. And I'm saying this as someone who's more or less on the outside. Like I've never even considered designing my own avatar before. So speaking of that, like for someone who's never attempted to do avatar creation before, or even just editing an avatar that they've purchased from like a Gumroad or anything like that, what would you say is like the first thing? What are like the first things that someone brand new to that sort of I guess editing an avatar, like what would be the first things that you would suggest that someone like know how to do and get comfortable with?
Like first steps, definitely like understanding like the VRChat like avatar descriptor and like what all the components on it are. Like understanding like animators and parameters is huge. Yeah, the general basics are just setting up an animator and understanding like what parameters do and like how they're driven and how they interact with like toggles and expressions. And you could import an avatar without any toggles on it at all, and that's very straightforward. But you do need to understand some basic stuff like like what a vizeme is, like blinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a VRChat like avatar basics video would be a good intro point. But a lot of that is automated by JaxTools because it's very straightforward. Like a lot of it I don't even expose in the editor because it would be overwhelming to see all of it. And you can just go to the component thing and edit it, manually yourself. Like setting, for example, like the face with all the vizemes on it. You can literally just look through all the mesh lists and see which one has all the vizemes or most of them, and then just say, okay, that's done. That's set for you. Because you're already going to set that up in your 3D program if you know what you're doing.
And you can use JaxTools to do that.
There is a warning section too. So if it doesn't find it, it can tell you that it didn't find it in the warnings section. It'll be like, I didn't find anything. You should probably set that up. And it'll tell you like how you should do it, which is cool. I really like the warning section is huge to me. Like any errors that I come across in my code, I'll just put it to the warnings like page and like tell the user about it.
Okay.
And it's helped me. Like it's crazy because I'll forget stuff and it'll be like, hey, ADHD, like idiot, you need to do that.
Gotcha. So basically, like you would suggest that like just people get comfortable with just like the basic components and like what makes an avatar work. And I guess what would you suggest? I mean, obviously you suggested the VRChat like introductory video. But if someone is like opening up Unity for the first time, they've bought an avatar and they import it into Unity, they managed to get that far. I guess what would be like the first thing that a person would do if they wanted to do like an edit, like they want to remove something like off the avatar to put something new on. Yeah,
like an edit to it.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Every avatar comes with like usually like an import guide to like get you from the Unity step into VRChat, which is cool. If you wanted to make like an edit to it, you would have to look in the files for the avatar and find the FBX, which is the model that usually there's usually just one model that an avatar creator will export out of their program and then import as like a prefab into Unity, and you would take that, and you would import that into your own 3D editor. And then you edit that and then re-export it on top of it. And Unity does a lot of the heavy lifting where it just will replace anything that you added. It'll just add that in. And then you just have to set up the extra stuff that you added. But a lot of the things that were already set up would be preserved. Or, if you remove something, you would just lose, like it wouldn't really matter. So, because, you probably have to, the worst that we would have to do is like delete like a parameter or something. So.
Okay. Like it's so funny because I'm like, again, as someone who doesn't have any experience with designing avatars or editing avatars, like I'm trying to put into I'm trying to use what little time I've spent in Unity to kind of like understand what you're saying, and I'm trying to picture it, and like it seems like a lot. Like
yeah, it's overwhelming, honestly.
Yeah. And that's why you're making JaxTools to kind of simplify the whole kind of experience of going through all of those things, so that the end user doesn't have to worry about those sorts of things. But they can just use your tool to kind of like make it a lot more streamlined for them, and it seems really useful. To me, it seems really useful, but it's definitely a lot to kind of like take in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even right now, the UI itself is very advanced level looking. Like you look at it and be overwhelmed by all the buttons and controls that's on it. And I know that from a UX perspective that it's overwhelming for a new user, but my current focus is like getting all the features that it can do done, and then like making like a basic version of the UI that guides you through it. Because like if you're an advanced avatar editor, you don't want to deal with like, okay, now we're gonna set up the toggles, and now we're gonna make sure that you have all this and set up. Like they don't people who already know what to do. They just want all the buttons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want to have both experiences for people, and I'm sort of taking it from two perspectives, where it's like advanced users come first because I need the features in the first place, and then the basic users will come next, where it's like I'm very hand-holdy and like because like when you start anything new, where do you start? Like you need something to tell you. Like even looking up documentation on the VRChat website is very like, where the heck do I even look? So hopefully JaxTools can eventually do that for you and just walk you through it. But I need both like perspectives supported, I think.
Gotcha. Okay. Very cool. And like, is there anything else that that you do that maybe relate to that? Like, okay, so let me see. What was it like designing? Like, do you make your avatars from scratch, or are you using existing avatars and you just kind of like adapt what already exists to make it your own?
Yeah. Any personal avatar, like. Yeah, any personal avatars that I use are usually based off of like an existing avatar or like parts of existing avatars, and it's just for my personal use. People would argue that streaming makes it commercial, but it's sort of a gray area. And then when it comes to like selling, I definitely have to buy every part and put them together. And I've been so like spread thin with like all the projects that I have. I haven't tried to make any custom assets yet. It's been very just like buy assets and then sort of assemble them together. But I still think that's a really valuable thing, because a lot of people are very overwhelmed by that idea even at all, and they would just rather buy an avatar. So it's still a valid line of work.
Yeah.
But I do want to do custom stuff eventually. I am releasing a custom head eventually, which is like the face. So because this specific face you can't sell, because the community has deemed it as like outside of the creator's TOS, even though it's like a huge edit of an edit of an edit.
Yeah.
So I'm respecting that. I'm making my own version. So yeah.
Gotcha. And how much of your current avatar that you're wearing right now is like your custom work, like from assets that you've picked out?
Yeah, I think the base is Panda base. Like a lot of it is actually based off of an avatar that I think it's Zozo by Belk, or I think they've changed their name by now, but it's a very old avatar. So yeah, even my avatar is not super custom. Like it's an edit of an edit of an edit. Like yeah, and I've just added a bunch of like clothing variations and stuff on it, and like from parts that I've had on other avatars or like that I bought. Yeah, so. Okay. I just like I think it's just fun assembling stuff together and like making something new.
Yeah,
I like being creative in that way.
Yeah, and like it sounds like the way that people describe it, they describe it as like you're kind of like taking puzzle pieces and you're just kind of linking them together. Like you buy the things and you just kind of like snap, you're done, kind of thing. They make it sound so rudimentary, but is it really? Like if you can like think back to like when you were initially doing this sort of thing, like is it as rudimentary as it sounds, or is it a little bit more complicated than it actually is?
It can be complicated. I think a lot of people, what they do is they try and buy like an asset or take an asset from an avatar that uses the same base, so they can just move it over and it just works. Which is like, for example, like booth avatars are very made like that. Like they're all very assembly, like you can just assemble them together with like, a tool. Whereas with like a lot of like assets that are more Western, you'll buy them and you like they're for a base, but they might not be for the base that's on your avatar. So you'll have to sort of mesh move like a lot of parts on it. And what I wind up doing is I sort of just wind up deleting like the skin painting that they've already done for like a certain base. And I don't even care what base that I'm buying it for. I just edit it because I'm so used to 3D like editing that I just re-rig it. Like I redo like a lot of the work that they've already done just because I don't really like it's quick for me. Like I don't really mind. So, but a lot of people don't. That's overwhelming for them, and I totally understand.
Okay. So like, I guess what is the most complex aspect of like, I guess adjusting or editing an avatar? Like it sounds like it's it's potentially the re-rigging of stuff. But you said like sometimes you'll get a piece of clothing that doesn't quite fit the avatar itself. So what do you have to do? Like it sounds like you have to make an adjustment to the piece in Unity to make it fit on the avatar itself, like to kind of like set on the avatar the way it's supposed to, the way it's ideally supposed to look. So that's, I would say, is probably the hardest thing. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm like adding like an asset that I've bought, I don't use Unity to add it onto my avatar. I open up the avatar project that I have in 3ds Max, and then I'll import the new asset into there. And then I'll like delete the skeleton they've already provided, like the skin weighting and stuff. And then I'll put it like sort of reasonably placed on my own avatar. And then I'll use like soft selection to be able to like move vertex points and stuff and faces to sort of fit like the avatar's body like better. And then I will do a skin transfer, which is where you like take like the rigging, the weight painting for the base, and then it moves it to the asset that you've just fit onto your avatar. And then you just do like a little bit of cleanup to make sure that when it deforms, it still looks good. Then you're done at that point. What a lot of people will do is they'll import the asset into Unity, and then they'll merge the bone trees. So it's like they'll use a tool that merges it into the avatar, but that relies on it fitting already. So it has to be made for the base that you have.
Okay. And I don't think I asked you this question specifically, but what tools do you use to create and to like modify and build your avatars? What are the specific tools that you personally use?
Well, way back I used to use like a lot, like Pumpkin is pretty like popular, like Fluff Toolbox is popular, just to name a few. But nowadays, like I'm so used to like just editing, I don't really like to use all the extra stuff, and it's pretty much just either just doing it like manually, all of it, or using JaxTools to just automate whatever part. So, because like I can program, so I just program it. Yeah, like I'm not really worried about like using a tool anymore. But yeah.
Yeah, but you mentioned
when I first started, it was like, okay, what tools? What are people using?
But you mentioned 3ds Max. What is that? What are you using that for? Because it sounds like you're using that like recently or like commonly.
Oh, I've been using 3ds Max since like the Stone Ages. Way back. I think Blender existed, but it wasn't as popular because it was very like the interface was confusing and stuff. It was still free, but yeah, it wasn't as popular. So a lot of people with around like what I did, they would use 3ds Max, and it's just what I got used to. Like it's hard for me to switch off of it. And Blender does, like nowadays, Blender does seem a lot better, and I would recommend people to learn Blender, and there's a lot more tutorials for it and stuff. But it's just like I'm just a dinosaur still using something else, basically.
Oh, okay. So it's just another option next to Blender, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not free though. It is a lot more expensive.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so like that's why I was asking.
Which is also why I would recommend Blender.
Fair. Yeah, I've been really interested in kind of like the whole process of avatar creation and editing. It seems really creative, super interesting, and like now like there's so much documentation on the whole process of it all. I think I asked this question already, but I'm gonna ask it again anyway, in a different way, I suppose. Like, if someone were brand new, what would be the first thing that you would recommend someone to do if they wanted to get into like avatar creation or like editing?
Yeah. Definitely like buy an avatar that's already been made and then just like mess with it. Like just destroy it. Like just ruin it. Like that's how I learned programming, that's how I learned avatar development, that's how I learned how to like make 3D models and stuff. You just have to make some shit that nobody should see. Like you have to break it and understand why you broke it. That's how I learn usually. I feel like a lot of other people might be more willing, they want to like watch somebody do it, like a YouTube video or something, be more like visually like seeing it. Those are the top two ways that I would recommend learning, is like watching other people do it on YouTube or just trying stuff. And I mean, you don't even have to have like a first step. You have to just change things and just like see what happens, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
You have to do the trial and error where it's like frustrating, because that's how you learn.
I would agree with that. Yeah, that's how like you have to fail and fuck up to like learn how to do things the right way. Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into streaming. Let's get into that.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So we already kind of got.
That's
like,
what you're doing.
That is what I'm doing. I'm doing that right now. Actually, it's wild. It's like
That's crazy.
It's like
Oh my
Inception.
God.
It's like Inception. You know, we're talking about streaming, but I'm already streaming right now. You know.
In the
That
stream.
seems-
Holy
yeah.
moly. Unless you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah, in which case.
Unless.
Yeah. Bummer. But yeah, thank everyone's watching on YouTube. Thank
Should
you.
have been there.
Appreciate it. Yeah, you should have been there live.
Yeah,
But
thank you for being here.
but yeah, let's talk about that. So I know you mentioned earlier about how you you weren't like, you just kind of got into streaming VRChat, and I've looked at your numbers. You got started in 2020 streaming, and like the really crazy thing is like you did it like. You did it like a little bit in 2020. Again, like the graphs could be weird or wonky or whatever, but you started in 2020, and like, but you just took off. Like the moment you started streaming, you just kind of took off. And maybe it's because of the nature of 2020. We all know the nature of 2020. But I guess like
Yeah.
like I guess what was like, you had no intention of, you know, becoming a big deal. You had no intention of it being like something that you would be doing for a long period of time. You're just doing it for fun. You were hanging out with your friends, more or less, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess well, we know how it started. We know how your streaming like career ultimately started, but like, I guess, when did you start to realize that people actually like were like into you?
Yeah. That's a good question. I like to brag because for like the first 3 months, there was nothing happening on stream. Like that shit was dead.
Yeah,
And I
that's
just
what the
kept
graph
doing
looks
it
like.
'cause
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, you can look at the graph, there's proof. It's like, it was dead. Like maybe 3-5 viewers tops. Maybe like a higher if it was like a random raid or something. But like, I remember getting a raid of like 30 and thinking that I had made it. Like that was crazy back then. And it was a great time. And I was so excited for anything that would happen at all. But I think why I popped off, was because I started to like really enjoy the streaming aspect of it, and like looking back and watching it back and seeing like clips and stuff. So I started to more focus on like being more like streaming for streaming instead of just streaming because I was just, you know, there. And like talking to people and like telling them that I was streaming and like meeting other people who were streaming. And just like the networking aspect of it started to really interest me, and like, you know, the culture of streaming and like making, you know, doing bits and stuff. So I started to take it more seriously. And I remember I got affiliate, and like that was like super like crazy to me, where it was like, I think this was actually like going somewhere, because people were like subscribing to like found the channel and stuff. And I was like, why? What the heck? It was so unusual. Like there was people there who actually wanted to like get that founder badge, and like they were just people who were just, you know, around from whenever they found me. And at that point I was sort of like, you know, I could probably take this seriously. So I started to do more like stream specific stuff, like streaming to stream. And, you know, I always wanted to make sure that I was still enjoying my time on VRChat. So like if I didn't really want to get on VR, like I wouldn't stream. But, you know, it was a balance, and it always is, always has been.
Yeah. And like you play other games. Like would you consider yourself a variety streamer?
Yeah, I mean, I do like to stream other games. I would say I'm a variety streamer. I'm still mainly a VRChat streamer though, I think, because I still have like the VR avatar even in VR variety streams in the corner. So, for a while I did it, just because I didn't know how to do it, or I couldn't set it up well, or I didn't have time. So, yeah.
So, do you consider yourself a VTuber, Jax?
Yeah, I'm a VTuber. I know that there's some like weird, like there's what's the word? The stigma that comes with it. But yeah, I'm a virtual person who does content. Yes.
Okay. I think that I think it's a funny question to ask people who predominantly do VR chat content, but I think people nowadays are starting to get more comfortable with the idea of calling themselves VTubers, even if the majority of the content is in VR chat. So like it's not just like
we're VTubers, like we're virtual people making virtual content. So, like, come on.
Yeah.
We're not, we might not be tubing necessarily, but like, whatever. It's a blanket term.
Exactly, I agree. It's becoming more just like as 3D models become more common in the scene for like VTubers in general.
Yeah.
I think the like people who do VR chat content are feeling a little more. I'm hearing it more often now from VR chat creators. So they're like, oh yeah, I'm a VTuber, blah blah blah. I actually heard I heard
I
Ron.
think it just stems from VR chat being very niche.
Yeah,
it's like one game, you know. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a different kind of like, I guess, game. I mean, if you even consider VR chat a game to begin with, which I don't think most people do. If you actually know what it is and what it's like to be here, it's kind of hard.
Oh yeah, it's much more like an experience.
Yes, yeah.
It's like just being in person, kind of. So yeah.
Agreed. So like. So I guess what so you kind of got the idea, like you were networking. Can you talk us a little bit about like, I guess, the networking aspect of it, because like one does not simply pop off on Twitch, but sometimes you get really lucky. Abe got really lucky. We heard about Abe's story about how they just popped off and things just went really well for them. They're just like it was there just like to the moon instantly.
Yeah, I can tell you the difference. I guess like a lot of people who we know who like sort of just popped off out of nowhere, and I think it's more common nowadays too. They've been in VR, like they've hung out with people, like they just meet streamers on the streets and they're just friends with them already, and that's not really a big deal to them. But then they sort of get pushed to like, you should stream, like it's fun, it's like lucrative, like you should stream, like people want to see you do stuff. And then they'll do it, and then they'll, people are already there. But like for my case, it was very like, I kind of, I wanted to be a streamer, but I didn't know what I was going to do. And then like, I was kind of just like, VR, I was totally new to it, and I didn't know anyone in anywhere. I didn't even watch Twitch before then. So I was just like completely raw dogging the experience and just trying it out and like just talking to anyone I could. And I think that VRChat really exponentiated the potential for me to grow as a streamer from nothing, because when it comes to like people streaming with their face cam on or like VTubing and stuff, it's way more common than like person with like trackers and like doing all this crazy stuff that a lot of the entry gate is higher. It's like what's the term? It's more barrier of entry is higher, so it's more interesting to watch, I think, for people like most people, just to see what anybody's up to, really. And I would just go into like Publix or whatever, and I would just talk to anyone, and I would be like, yeah, I'm streaming right now, like you can follow if you want, like do you stream at all, like I'll follow you, like I don't really care, like I just want to meet new people and like get into new communities and just like see what's going on. And I started to watch more streamers, like Socks, for example, was one of the first few VR streamers that I started watching. And yeah, I mean, I just started participating in like streamers chats, just because I was so interested in like what they were doing and like see if I could draw inspiration from that. And one of my best tips for people is, if you like put good energy out people will bring it back to you, and like you don't have to do it in like a malicious way where it's like I'm giving you all this stuff, like you better give it back.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you just support people, and like if you just have to actually genuinely support them and then keep doing your own thing. You know what I mean? And it may come back. And that's how like networking like worked for me, where I was just like, I'm just interested in everything, and I'm also doing something.
Yeah.
So, and it never really popped off. It's, if you look at the graph, it's very like slow growing, but you know, it's getting up there after like, you know, a few years, and I think it's gonna keep going. So you just have to be consistent.
Yeah. So I can definitely agree with you on the idea of putting out good energy. I mean, that's largely why I'm at where I'm at now. That's largely why you're sitting here with me right now. It's the fact that a lot of people believed in me and felt that positive energy from me. They believed in what I was doing, and they believed that I was serious about what I was doing. And like this is like a collab.
Yeah.
It's for me, it's a collab. This isn't like me using anyone for content. This is a collaborative experience where
It's a mutual collab.
Yeah. So
Of
like,
course.
it's like I think I agree with that completely. It's definitely necessary to support others who are also streamers, and to, you know, like genuinely want to support them and see them succeed while also kind of focusing on your own thing. Do you think it's necessary to like to watch other streamers? Do you think that studying other streamers is necessary? Since like you had like were you like a Twitch streamer watcher before you started streaming? And if not, what happened?
No, yeah, I was not a Twitch watcher before I started streaming on Twitch like consistently.
Same.
And that's just because I never really like, you go into like a big streamers chat, right? And everyone's just spamming, and the big streamer's not even reading it, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't really know what small streams to even watch, because I just would go to YouTube or something for that. And it was just like, why would I go to Twitch and like talk to somebody new? I don't know. It just never really crossed my mind. But then when I started playing VRChat, I was like, you know, well, I should see what other people are doing, like in this area of stuff. So I started to be more interested in like, you know, watching and seeing what people were doing. Like, I remember, like Ron's stream was super interesting to me, where he was like dancing and stuff. And I was like, how the fuck is he doing that? It was like so interesting to me. It was like, that's like a whole like genre of like stream content that people can do. I can't do it. I can't fucking dance for shit like that. Like, I can throw my ass in a circle, but that's about it. And I just like, you know, it's like that, like, you know, like what Socks does with like the music and like the visuals and stuff. That's so cool.
Yeah, very
It's like,
cool.
I was trying to think like, what's my content type? Like, what am I doing? And like, I would draw parts of inspiration from each person and like try and copy some parts of their stream, but like ultimately you can only be original. Like, you can only be yourself. So, you know, you have to settle on your own thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I started watching VRChat streams a lot because I was just so interested in VR.
Yeah, same. Like the content that people are doing in VRC is very, very interesting, and like having a genuine curiosity about what other streamers are doing, I think is extremely key in, you know, like kind of understanding, you know, what it means to be a streamer, but also to like the variety of content that can be created on VRChat in general. So can you tell us a little bit about like your process? Like, how did you kind of go from like, I don't know what I'm gonna do on VRChat, I'm getting all these followers, like people are actually liking what I'm doing, I'm already affiliate, like I guess, when did you start to like want to care about the content that you were creating specifically, and what was your process in which discovering that? What was like your content? What was BlackJax's content? How did you figure that out?
Well, I've definitely gone through like a lot of phases. I think like before it was very like in the start, it was very like Publix and like world hopping and like maybe just sitting in front of a mirror and listening to music or something and just talking with anybody who came by. And that was, you know, like an arc that I went through, and then I was like, okay, it's kind of not really like working. It was sort of like what's working and what's not, and people weren't super like, I sort of realized that people weren't that interested in it. So I was sort of like, okay, well, what are other streamers doing? And I remember back then, Autumn and Jades were very like high energy, like very chatty streamers, and like they could just keep talking about stuff and be so like ADHD with anything they were saying. And I remember drawing inspiration from that chaotic like nature. I mean, like, I should like sort of try and do like bits and stuff, and like be less not myself, but like a character of some kind, and like really exaggerate the like comedic level of presentation. And so then it sort of became more like I'm hanging out with people, but I'm also like, you know, really leaning into what I'm talking about, or like really engaging a chat. Whereas before, a chat was not like something I was really focused on. And like world hopping and stuff was still sort of in there, but it was more like, you know, critiquing worlds or whatever. And like I think it sort of moved into like more of like a partying phase, where I sort of just like, you know, go to any parties that were happening and like just talk to people there. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I sort of, my content just like evolved into whatever like I liked doing, and then I also sort of realized was like would work. It was sort of like trial and error.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about like how you realized stuff was working. So how did you go about like kind of discerning what was working, what was not working? What did you do to do that? And how did you go about evolving from there?
Yeah, well, like, you know, you try like a stream where it's like, okay, this one's like a mute stream and then like dancing to music or something, and then this one's like a world hopping stream and I'm just critiquing worlds, and then this one I'm in Publix and like, you know, I'm like just going with the flow, and then this one I'm with all my friends. Like, it's stuff like that where I was like, I would see like how many followers would come in per time, and like how like the viewership would be, and like you know, it was sort of just like looking at the metrics afterward and seeing like what people liked, and then sort of tailoring the next stream, like not necessarily to that, but like trying something new or the same thing again, until it sort of leveled out to where like it was consistent. Yeah, which is probably like why you don't see me like world hop as much anymore, because, you know, world hopping, even I didn't really enjoy it, because a lot of the times you wind up in worlds that are just like just so dull.
Yeah.
And you're like, why did I even come here?
Yeah.
It's hard to find a really crazy good engaging world, but sometimes you do, and nobody's ever seen it before, so it's definitely worth doing every once in a while. So like sometimes I'll world hop, and that's something that I've just learned from like doing it.
Mm-hmm. So what is Jax's content now? Like, how would you define your content formula? Like, what is your secret sauce now for creating engaging content that you know it's what your community wants and something that you personally enjoy?
Yeah, definitely more like party like nature. Like, I really like playing like music pretty loud, and like music that I really like listening to. And then, you know, just like drinking and hanging out and just talking to like my friends and stuff, and like meeting new people who like come by and like know everyone that I know. That's like really fun for me. And then when I'm like, you know, when it's late in the night and chat kind of dies down, like I'll go into like Publix and stuff and just talk to anybody. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of like, you know, it's more safe now, where it's like, you know, back then it was very just like Publix only and like world hopping and like who knows what's happening. But now it's like sort of more streamlined, where I know what's gonna happen. But it's like, you know, it's still, because like I know so many people now, it's like it's not hard to find an instance where stuff is happening. So yeah, but I've also learned a lesson recently where I can't go to any instance, because people literally just know me now. And they'd be like, okay, you can't be here. So back then it was like nobody even knew I was streaming, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, you learn lessons.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, just it's hard being famous, I guess.
I didn't choose the life. I just had to. This is how it is. I don't know.
Yeah. So can you tell us about like how much do you care about the numbers? Like, we're still talking in like the sense of like I'm like I just got affiliate, or like I'm kind of been doing this for a little bit. We're not even talking about you being partner right now. Like, we're just trying to like, I'm trying to like get like the story of like what it was like kind of getting up to that point. So like how much do you care about like numbers now? Like how often do you check your numbers? How much do your numbers like affect what you do and like how you go about doing your content?
Yeah, I mean, I check numbers after every stream, like just flat out. Like, I'll look at the metrics and like see if it did good or not.
Which specific ones?
I don't take it that seriously. Just like the analytics page, to see like, you know, max viewers, like, you know, average viewers, stuff like that, like subs, like follow count. One thing that I did learn about follow count is that if you hide the follower notification, more people will be inclined to follow because they don't feel like they're outed from like lurking or something, which is interesting. An interesting thing that I've learned that I don't think a lot of people have thought about.
Very psychological.
I got a lot more follows after I turned that off. Yeah, it's very interesting how that works, but yeah.
Do you have anything popping off in your
and
chat when that happens, or it's just they're just pressing the button and nothing happens?
It's just random. It's super. No, nothing happens. Nothing. Like the only thing that I'll say is thank you for following. Like there's no other indicator that somebody has followed. It's like sometimes I'll just miss them entirely, and I just won't say thank you because I missed it. And it's not like I'm not thankful, but it's like, you know, sometimes people do want to just not be noticed, which is something that a streamer would, you know, we love the attention, right? But like when it comes to like viewership, sometimes you don't. And I get that. Like when I'm following like a big streamer, like I don't want chat to like be like noticing that I'm there. So.
Well, I can understand that now because now you're Jax. Now everyone like knows you, so I can understand not wanting people to know you now.
It might be different after like your numbers like increase like a little bit. It might be different. I'm not really sure. That's just what I personally learned from my own stream. But yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So it's just stuff like that. Like you just learn over time. Like you try new things and see if it's working. But yeah, I don't really take the metrics that seriously. Like pre-partner, I really did. Like I was really shooting for partner. I was doing my best to like get the numbers up at some point. Like I was like, I'm close, like I'm really close, and it's fluctuating between it. And I never really could get it. So that's why, I don't know if you're aware, but I did like a really, really, really long stream to just get it. Which did wind up working, which was crazy. But yeah, afterward, I don't really worry about it. I do want to like, you know, increase my numbers, of course, but I don't take it as seriously as I used to. So, you know, it's more like just subtle changes.
Do you not take it as seriously as you used to because you're a partner now, or is it because of another reason? Or like you have other things you'd rather work on or focus on?
Well, I took it seriously before partner because partner, the restrictions were, you know, they're already set in stone and you have to meet them. And then, you know, you have to apply and they have to just think you're cool enough to accept you. It makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
So you have to maintain those stats for like months. It's crazy. Honestly, getting partner is super difficult. Like I would tell, that shit was not easy. So yeah, after that, I was like, I'm just chilling. Like I want to be able to play variety games and like not worry if it's like lower, like the stats or whatever. Like yeah, like way less worry in general. Now it's more just like about like if like people find it worth subscribing for. That's the only metric that really matters. Like it doesn't matter about viewership, it doesn't matter about like follows, all that doesn't really matter. Like if you want to stream full time, like the subs, like you just have to make content that people will find worth subscribing for.
Do you have
which is not an easy task if you're just trying to enjoy yourself.
Right, of course. Like that, like getting people to follow, let alone subscribe is like there's I feel like there's like a certain kind of like you have to find just what works for you. Like there's no like one way to go about it. So like can you tell us your secret to making that happen? Like how do you go about like making that happen?
What, like subscribers or?
Yeah, like I mean, like, I guess like I know you kind of you've decided what kind of content that you personally like to make, but like I guess like
yeah,
when subs are down, what do you do in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to like subscribers being down, streaming more often is obviously a good one. There's always the subathon option, but I don't really want to do any subathons more than like once a year or something, maybe twice, because I feel like that's sort of like, you know, you can't do that all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
It needs to be like an event. It needs to be like an event. Mm-hmm. So I think when it comes to like getting like subs up, like I'm not even the person to ask because like my subscribers, like they max out at maybe like 500, 600, which is still pretty good. But you know, then they like, I think I have maybe like 100 pure concurrent, which is, you know, I'm very, very grateful for everything. Mm-hmm. But honestly, my tactic, which I mean, I don't even know if it's good, but it's just showing people a good time. That's the only thing I can do really. And if people are enjoying themselves, they're probably going to be willing to subscribe. So if I'm having a good time, people will probably find it worth subscribing. So I just do my best to have fun.
Yeah. And you know, believe it or not, like even like I don't even have like people currently, like ever since I've been streaming, people have not been able to subscribe to me because I deliberately have not been affiliate. But like I can get on board with the idea of like making sure that your audience is having a good time. Like engage in a way that shows people that like you are enjoying what you're doing. Like feel like people can feel that sort of thing. People can sense that sort of thing. People can sense if you're like if you're
they
really
definitely
engaged.
can.
Yeah. So like when you don't feel like streaming, you just don't do it.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, when it comes to like when I have moments where I want to be consistent with streaming, I will still stream. But like I'm very honest. Like sometimes I'll just be like, guys, like I'm just gonna chill and do this today because I'm not really feeling it or whatever. But no, I haven't even really had to do that much lately because it's like I just if I'm going live, like I want to go live. So yeah.
Yeah, it's something that you legitimately enjoy. So like being able to go live and bring that energy, like I'm here to have a good time. We're gonna party. We're gonna have a great time. We're gonna chat up some people. It's gonna be good. And that's just what you do.
Yeah.
Do you think that your success has anything to do with the particular time slot that you're in? Have you always been in that time slot, by the way? I didn't look too deeply into your statistics in terms of time slots, but like have you always been in like the early morning time slot? Or has that changed over time?
My time slot has pretty much always been the same because I would get off of work and then I would start streaming maybe like an hour or two after I got home. Yeah, so it's always been pretty late, pretty early. And then I sort of just got used to that.
Sorry.
So, bless you. I haven't changed it from that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you think that your time slot is optimal? Do you think that like how can I word this?
Yeah.
Do you think that a time slot plays a part in potentially finding the right people? Because like obviously there are people who are asleep, there are people who are awake. It can be like a global audience. Twitch is essentially a global audience. So do you think that your time slot like played a part in you kind of popping off and people finding you and just kind of like your growth?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of people at the time slot that I'm in are like winding down from their day or whatever, or like, or like almost ready to go to sleep a lot of times. And like I don't stream too much on the weekdays anymore, which I think also helps. It was hard to get numbers up in the weekdays because, there just wasn't much going on and not much to stream. So you'd have to be very like well planned with your content. Whereas when on the weekends, it was like, there was so much going on, like, I don't know, like there's people everywhere. Like they're all watching Twitch, they're all in VR. So those were really good days to stream on, like those nights. And streaming during the day, I have tried that a couple of times. I think that's more, I think it's like Europe time. So I don't know, there was a lot less like people showing up at that time zone. So I don't know, I wound up just falling into the same time zone that I always have. Just because most people show up then. I'm not really sure what it is.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, well, let's talk about like getting to partner. And like how long did it take? Well, first, how long did it take you to get to affiliate, if you remember?
I think 3 or 4 months, yeah.
Okay. And
it was a minute.
Yeah, and getting to partner, how long did that take?
I think 2 years. I can't remember how long. I think 2 years. Yeah. It was a minute.
Okay.
And I got really close. I did a partner push, I think maybe a year and a half in. That got really close, but it was still no dice. I couldn't even apply. I didn't even get to the apply. I didn't get that open, which is wild to think about.
Yeah, so like it
was a lot of effort.
Yeah, you did a partner push, and like essentially you need to have like, what is it, like 75 concurrent subs over the course of 3 months, I believe. Something like that?
75 viewers, yeah.
Oh, 75 viewers. Okay.
Concurrent viewers.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And that wasn't over the course of, it was just over the course of the past 30 days, I think. Yeah. And that was the hardest stat for me.
Gotcha. And like everything else was good, but just like keeping the number above 75 was just tough.
Oh yeah, my biggest problem was I would stream for like a normal amount of time, maybe like 4 hours, 5 hours, but my viewers would be low until somebody like raided. Like I would have some like a lot of like connections that would be like, okay, we're gonna help you partner push, right? Which I was super happy about, but it actually worked against me because it would make my max viewer count very high, and I'd be tired at that point, and the concurrent would be just down here still.
Yeah.
Even out like still like 40 or something. So it was like I just need to stream for like a long ass time. But even then, like even if people raided, partner application doesn't like raids. I had to turn off raids in order to get to where even the button opened for me.
Damn.
Which is a whole other story.
That's wild. I mean, it makes sense. It really does make sense, like in general, because raids can be helpful, and like they can be helpful. But like when you think about it, like you're like 2 hours, 3 hours into your stream, you've already been holding a certain number of viewers, and then you get raided. So like your concurrent, like your concurrent is going to pretty much stay the same. It doesn't matter if you got raided, because like your max viewers goes up, but like what matters is your average viewers.
Yeah,
you
would have to hold the raid for at least the same amount of time you've already been streaming, which just does not happen.
It does not happen.
It would fall off by then.
Yeah,
and that's a long time to stream too.
Yeah, like what
it's just so much, you have to stream forever.
Exactly. So like what I found, like in terms of raiding, is that like when I receive a raid, I've already figured out that at this point, like if I'm lucky enough to get raided by a large group of people, I will keep potentially like, I would say about 50% of them won't even engage. So like 50% of them, boom, gone from the raid, and then like we'll say like 70, we'll say like about, I don't know, like 75% of like those people may stay for a little bit and then leave. So you'll be lucky to keep about 25% ish of like the raid once everything is said and done. And you'll be lucky if someone follows. You're not gonna get any sub. You're probably not gonna get any subs from the raid, but you'll be lucky if like a couple people follow. But like you're keeping like maybe 25% of the 100% of people who raided you, and that's generally what I've observed. Have you kind of like, do you have like a way of kind of dealing with that, or like do you have any sort of like insight on that on yourself, or does it really matter to you at this point?
Yeah, I mean, like when it comes to raids, I'm super thankful for them, of course, but I think overall they only account to exposure. They don't really attribute to stats as much as people might think. It'll raise your max viewer count, but other than that, I think it's very like you'll get maybe max like 5 follows. People will just diminish over time. Like, you know, you get maybe a couple new people chatting, but otherwise, like, you know, most people who were in the raid, of any number of people raiding in, were there to watch the previous streamer, which is valid. Like, they were there for their streamer, and it makes sense. But so when it comes to like exposure, like the only things you should think about when you get raided are like making sure that people see what your content like actually is, and like what makes, like, you put your best foot forward, of course, and that's pretty much it. Like, you know, it's just exposure. I wouldn't think about it as like a stats thing.
Yeah.
Which is really weird to think about, but even like Twitch does not like raids, like when it comes to applying to partner and stuff. It makes no sense. They want it to be all organic.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because they want it to be all organic. They want the streamer to be able to stand on their own. Like they want the proof to be in the pudding, you know. So like, it makes sense, but still sucks. Yeah.
It does suck. Yeah.
So like, so. At what point were you able to reach partner, and what was necessary for you to get there in the end? Since you didn't make it the first time, but what did you end up doing to kind of get there? Because you said you streamed for a really long time and then you got to partner. So like, So I guess after that day happened, what happened after that? Did anything change for you?
I did like that partner push. I mean, like, I don't know, my perspective on like getting partner changed. I did that first partner push, and that wasn't successful, and I put a lot of time and effort into that. Like I set up like a ticket system, and I did like a giveaway where it was like if you redeem tickets, like you can like get like a headset or whatever, which was super crazy. Like I gave away like an index and stuff because I could afford it at the time because I worked and I made a decent amount of money because I was a programmer.
Right.
So I did that, and I was like super like a crazy like community building experience, and like it was really good if I just think for my stream in general. But it didn't really get me to partner, so I had to sort of reassess like what I was doing and like sort of keep like I had to talk myself back up into like enjoying streaming and like just as is again. I mean, not worrying about partner, because partner sort of locks you into like a creative like tunnel where it's like you have to keep doing the same thing over and over because so people know what they're expecting like when they show up.
Yeah.
Otherwise they're not going to show up and then your stats will go down. So I sort of like reassessed it, and at one point I sort of just snapped and I was like, you guys, like, chat, what if I just post on Twitter, can everyone just keep their computer on, at least 75 people on my stream, and I just don't stop streaming? Can you just keep your computers on? And then like 80 people liked it, I think. So I was like, okay, we're gold. It's 80 people. And obviously not all 80 people from the Twitter are gonna, show up. That makes no sense. But so I did that, and like at first I think there was a lot of hype around it. And it sort of like it was fluctuating between maybe like 100 and then like 60 and like around 75, and it was tumultuous. It was crazy, but I kept streaming, and I think it's a very iconic part of my streaming history because I just stayed live for I think maybe I got the button open. All I know is I got partner at like 720 hours in. That's all I remember.
720 hours into your stream?
Yes. I would stream while I was at work. I would stream while I was asleep. I would stream while I was streaming. Like I just did not. The only thing I was doing was streaming, and it worked. It worked out. So I turned off raids until the button was open. Then I turned raids back on. It was very strategic, and I was very open about it. Like I was telling people exactly what the goal was. Like we're getting partner. Like if everyone doesn't collab on this, like it's not going to work. But it did work. So
yeah, like it's
crazy.
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
It's crazy because getting that many people to mobilize behind one person is in and of itself pretty crazy. Like you only see that sort of stuff in like military. Like that's like you don't really see that stuff in like general like everyday life. It's very, very uncommon for people to be like, yeah, my streamer type of shit. Like like
I didn't think that it would work.
Yeah, like you hope that like 10 people are like, yeah, my streamer. Like let alone fucking like 80.
But like I think I didn't, it wasn't even my idea. I think chat told me to do it. They were like, you should just not turn off stream, because I think the problem is that like my viewership would go up, but only after like 6 hours or something, and then it would kind of just stay up there and like not like diminish too much, because people like they weren't clicking on my stream when I went live, but then once they knew I was live, they would just stay. Right. So I was like, what if you guys? What if we just don't end? And then I don't know, the weird idea. That's what happened.
That's a very, very bold idea, and like. Did anything change for you? Like, did your perception on like did your mindset about streaming change once you became partner? And like, has that changed anything about you like now? Like, are you different from the way you were when you were affiliate and you were just like a small fry? But now that everyone knows you and people know who you are and you're kind of a big deal, like has that changed you at all?
I don't think it changed me at all. I think that change in me happened while I was still affiliate, actually, where I was like, I think like I'm happening. You know what I mean? Like people were showing up and like it's happening. And at that point, like I did the partner push, the first one, and that was the time when I realized that people were actually showing up, and like I could get up to like 100 viewers and like stay up there. Not easily, of course, but like it was possible. It was never something that even like I had thought about. But yeah, I mean, after partner, it was just like, okay, well now we can just chill out. Nothing really changed. We can just like chill. We can stream at 1080p 60 FPS. Let's go. Like, you know, and then everybody gets transcoding because you don't get transcoding all the time if you're affiliate. Like I was, woo! You know, it was like that was like a big deal.
Yeah.
So. You know,
can you explain that to people who may not know? I'm not actually familiar with transcoding, so can you? Explain to me.
Transcoding is like if you if you stream at 1080p 60 fps, you're using so much bitrate that Twitch will not prioritize you for streaming at like 720p, like 720p 30 or whatever, like lower settings, because they have to process your stream on their server side, which just takes resources of theirs.
Right.
So they only give it to streamers who they like, their algorithm whatever decides is going to be a lucrative stream to invest in and like earn them subs, I think is what it is. But then once you're a partner, they, you know, if you stream at 1080p, like you're gonna have all the options up down to 160p for anyone. People, if I streamed at 1080p when I was affiliate, people would show up to stream and be like, I can't see the stream, it's all black. Like I can't see it. And it was on mobile. So specifically mobile streams couldn't see my stream. So I'd have to stream at 720p. So it was guaranteed that mobile people could see it. And a lot of people were on mobile. So it was like, I could not stream at 1080.
Got you. But now you can, and mobile people can see it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they can see it, yeah. Because it's guaranteed as partner.
Wow.
Which was like a big deal because I wanted to stream at a higher resolution so bad because it looks better.
Yeah. It's just a better visual experience. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think what the compromise is, a lot of people will stream at like a midpoint. They'll stream at like 864p or something. I don't even know, which apparently works.
Huh?
But you know, whatever.
Yeah. So this is like. It's been really interesting, like, hear about, like, your, like, how you've kind of, like, how you went through the process of getting to partner. And, like, it seems like you've just been, like, you just kind of do your thing. Like, what's been the hardest part about streaming in general for you?
Staying, like, motivated would definitely be it. Like, not burning out. Like reminding like yourself of like why you like log in and go live. Like I think I burned out maybe 3 times like really bad, where I was like, chat, like I don't even know why I'm here. Like I'm tired and I don't know what content I'm making and I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like where I was doing so much of the same stuff over and over, I got tired of it. But then you sort of have to just like, you know, not stream for a minute and just like remind yourself like why you're even in VR in the first place and why you're streaming in the first place, and like remember why people watch you and like why you like streaming and stuff like that, and that helps. So yeah, it's very like a mind game over time, I think, for yourself.
And what was it for you? What's your reason for continuing to stream?
I mean, I love VR. Streaming is just fun in general. Like I really like watching it back and like trying to make like clips and stuff and just like being like a little fucking silly little guy. I just like doing that. And just, you know, I just remember that like I do really enjoy it. I just need to be in like the right like place for it, right place and time. Because like, you know, it's not always the right place and time. Like sometimes there's nothing happening, so it's like, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. So like, you know, it's like streaming during the week, like I don't do that as much anymore because, you know, it is really hard. It's a little bit harder to stream in the week in my case, because my content type is very like random. I don't have like a, you know, specific niche that I fit into, I feel like.
So wait, you feel like that you don't have, you like, in terms of, do you mean in terms of your content in VRC, or do you mean like the VRC content in general is like is so niche that like you have to stream on the weekend?
No, like my content type, like what I'm doing for stream is, like people would say I like, you know, I'm like a party streamer, which is true. Yeah. I mostly stream it like during parties, but that's because like it's what I find fun and like, you know, what I enjoy doing. Like, you know, when it comes to like just talking to chat, like, you know, I like a lot of streamers are really good at that. I'm good at it too, but only if I'm in like the right mood for it. I can't do it for like 5 hours straight. Like, holy shit. You know what I mean? I need to be doing, I need to actively be engaged in something. And sometimes chat dies and I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, what's going on? You know?
Gotcha.
And that's just me.
Yeah. So you're not the talk to chat for long periods of time kind of person. You're vibing with people and you're just letting your chat just kind of experience what you're experiencing in the moment kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's probably my content type, is just letting them come along on whatever I'm doing.
I see.
Like, I'm just having fun in VR, really.
Gotcha. Wow, that's interesting. Like, I feel like it takes a lot of confidence to be like, yeah, chat, you're just here to enjoy me and enjoy the music. Like I'm not even gonna be able to like paying attention to you all that much. I want to be like hanging out with my friends. We're gonna be having conversations.
Oh, I mean, no.
Like...
I'm definitely paying attention to chat. Like, a lot of the times I'll feed off of what chat's doing, but I don't rely on them, is what I'm, like, what I kind of is what I'm saying. Like, and I mean, a lot of just chatting streamers in VR will not rely on chat. Like, they'll just keep talking about anything that they're thinking about. Yeah. And I can do that. But, you know, sometimes, like, chat is just, like, not having it.
Right.
And they just they're not feeling it. And, like, it's like, okay, well, now what am I doing, you know? I can't just talk to, you know, nothing forever. That's just not really, like, what I enjoy doing.
That's fair. Yeah,
sometimes I really do like talking to chat. Like, a lot of times I do. And I'll respond to, like, most if not all chat messages that come through.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, sometimes I don't know, it's a balance.
I get that.
I like both.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something really.
I never really liked.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
No, you're fine. I was gonna say I never really liked showing up to streams and they were completely ignoring chat, and I'd be like, hi, and nothing would happen. Like, they're just so engaged in what they're doing.
Exactly.
I never really like that, so I try not to do that. But, like, the like, just talking and, like, going off and, like, pretending to be an extrovert, like, that's something that I had to learn. Like, when I first started streaming, like, I was, like, very into myself and sort of just hanging out, and it was hard for me to, like, really, like, just keep going and talking, and I have gotten way better at it now. But then after I'm done streaming, I'm like, I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed, like, I'm going to hang out by myself, like, I'm done. Like, it's not that I don't enjoy it, but it's very introvert mindset where it's like, I'm good. I'm done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have a certain limited battery. You have a certain limited battery for it. And the funny thing is, I know Jade's does too. Like when Jade's goes live, like she goes and goes and goes, and when she's done, I'm almost certain that she's
mode.
Like,
it's like a toggle.
You flip it on.
Extrovert mode.
Absolutely, and that's what I do.
Yeah, you flip it on.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I get that. Like, that's where I'm at, and like I think people don't really get that. I think people, like, when people see me off stream, I think people are like maybe like, oh,
it's way different.
It's different.
Like, you're way more chill. Yeah, you're just like, hey, like, what's up?
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Oh, okay. Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah,
like, you're not super, like, crazy or anything.
Right.
Yeah, just normal.
Yeah, but, you know, like, I try not to, like, I try not to, like, take people for too much of a loop. I try to, like, kind of, like, if I've never met them before and they've only seen me on stream, like, I kind of, like, I give a little bit of it, but, like, generally speaking, like, I kind of just want to, like, chill because I'm not on camera. So, like, I just, like, I want to just kind of, like...
You're not making content, like, you know...
Yeah, I'm not trying to make
It's not, like, something for people to watch.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think it takes a certain kind of mindset to, like, when you hit the go live button, like, you have to kind of be ready to be like, okay, I'm doing this thing. I really love this thing. I want people to know how much I love this thing, and you have to be. You have to let people feel
yourself
that.
into it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, what do you what do you think about people? What do you think about people who, I guess what would you suggest to people who maybe have been streaming for a long time and maybe they don't know kind of like what to do in terms like their content, or they're kind of like they've been doing it for a long time, but like they're not.
Like they're burning out.
Yeah, like there's a burnout. There's like they're feeling discouraged because like getting partner in 2 years is kind of crazy. Just saying, it's kind of wild, and I'm sure you realize this. But like you also did a lot of work. You put in a lot of effort to get it. It didn't just come to you. But like,
oh yeah, there was so much strategizing. Like, I am very proud of all the strategizing that I had to do to get that shit. I will not even hide that fact.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work.
Yeah, and like now everyone who didn't know knows about that. So like, what would you say to people who are just kind of like, you know they've been affiliate for like however many years, and like, you know, they're just trying to figure out like what can I do to kind of like bring a better like form of content for myself? Like, how would you like just like suggest that to them, what they can do?
I think you have to make sure to, obviously, like I said, like, remember why you like doing it at all. Like, why are you even there doing it in the first place? But then sort of add like a strategic level to it where it's like, okay, well, why, is it not working, and what worked in the past, and then try and hone in on that. Getting like, I guess there's two different problems here. There's getting partner, and then there's like, enjoying what you're doing. And then there's a balance of the two where it's like going for one will start to ruin the other. So you have to sort of balance it for a bit. And that was probably the hardest part for me, which is probably why I wound up burning out a lot, because I would try and find like a niche to like hone in on that would work for people. And then I started to not like it. And I was like, okay, I need to go do something that I actually like doing just for my sanity, which was, like, for example, going to like a party and just drinking and like talking to my friends. It's very straightforward, but like, that kind of content wound up working for me because I started to get, good at that niche because I was just enjoying it. But like, for example, like people will say that streaming variety games, for example, will ruin your partnership stats if you're like a VRChat streamer, which is true. You do sort of need to like know what people are following for and like keep doing that, which is usually VRChat. I feel like if you're gonna pop off like doing anything else, like VRChat is like a special case. If you're gonna do anything else, you probably need to be on other platforms like YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like a mental balance. Just keeping yourself sane, but still like, like not just giving away your stats, like because you're just having fun. Like letting them drop. It's a balance.
So you would suggest that if someone like initially has found success in doing VRChat content, you would suggest that maybe they should keep doing it, or
oh yeah,
and not play other games.
Yeah. What's funny about like trying to like pop off is that it sort of ruins your creativity, because the more various you are, the more you're gonna lose your specific audience, because they're gonna be like, I don't follow this person for that, and I'm not gonna show up. But then if somebody followed you for a specific game that you're playing, they're only gonna show up for that game, so your audience sort of gets segmented. Which is, it doesn't really matter if you're like a really big streamer and your audience is so huge anyway. People are just gonna show up because you're you.
Right.
But that takes so much like time and effort to like get to that point. You have to stream for years and stuff like that. So at first, like, you really need to like, hone in on what your content is and like why people are showing up every time you go live. Like, you have to be very consistent, which is the opposite of creativity in my opinion, but such as statistics.
Yeah. And not just statistics, but also psychology. Understanding how your user base thinks. Like how does your community think about you? Like do you think about the idea of community and what do my people want to watch? What do my people engage with more? Obviously you're looking at numbers, and the numbers will just tell you that what they're doing, what they're saying. But is it like do you actively like observe that? Like is the actions of your community affecting your decisions that you make in terms of like the content that you do? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, a lot of times they'll just be vocal about like what they want to see, and like, you can choose to do that or you can choose to not. And like a lot of the times it's just like a vocal minority sometimes, and you'll do what they ask and then it doesn't work at all because they don't really know what's best for your stream. But I mean, you sort of just have to pick up on like the nuances of how people will respond, I guess, and that's just like how they act in chat and how they are just, what they show up for and stuff like that. So yeah, like, because even within VRChat, there's so many different things you can do. Like, I'll do different stuff in VRChat and then I won't see certain people, which makes sense. It's like they're there for certain things. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I have a couple more questions for you, and then we'll kind of be wrapping up. So, where would you like to see yourself? Or where would you like to be? Where'd you like to be in 2 years from now?
In 2 years, I would like to still be streaming. I'd like to see VR Gang to be more of like a, maybe even like what's it called, like a team, like an actual like like a paid salaried team, maybe. That might be too soon, but still like sort of get it to like, go up to that potential. I'd like to be programming a little bit more. I really like programming, so I'd like to be programming like, I don't know, some kind of VR stuff. That'd be cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm already on the trajectory, I think, that I'm comfortable with and happy with. So as long as I can maintain it, yeah, I'm already kind of there, sort of.
Cool.
I'm comfortable here. I'm still going for it.
Nice. All right, cool. And my last question for you, at least for the time being, because there will actually be some additional questions in the post podcast. So if you'd like to see more of those questions, you definitely want to subscribe to my Patreon to see the extra questions that will be asked of Jax that will not be present on this particular episode. So if you're interested in that, please do check out the Patreon, and you'll be able to see those extra questions. That'd be really cool. Really cool. If you want to check that out at patreon.com/Nepherti. That's patreon.com/Nepherti. All right, so my last question for you, Jax, for now, is what advice could you give about anything? What would be your last bit of advice to give to viewers? It could be about anything. It could be about streaming. It could be about programming. It could be about avatar creation. It could be about life. It could be about anything. Like, so, what advice would you give to our viewers tonight?
If this is good advice. If you have like a dream, and it's okay to not have a dream, like if you're just comfortable just chilling, that's fine. A lot of people are like that. But if you have a dream, chase that shit right now. Like, just do it. Like, oh my god, holy. Just being, so many people are comfortable and they're like, I wish I was doing something else. And I'm like, okay, well, why aren't you? Why are you not working? Are you working towards it? What are you doing to do that? And they're like, okay, well, like, I'm going to do it eventually. It's like, no, do it right now. You know what I mean? Like, start at least. Get into it. Like, that's huge. It's so easy to just be like, okay, I'm just going to do it tomorrow or, year. It's like, no, you can do it right now. Just do it. Like, it may take some time to develop. Of course, everything takes investment, but you can start right now. Do it. Do it. Just do it.
Make your dreams come true.
Just do it.
Yes. Yeah.
Make your dreams come true. God damn it.
Yes.
Do it.
True.
Angie.
Yes.
I have to tell myself that advice.
I do too. Just go for it. Like, do the things that you want to do now, because you never know. You never know when it may be too late. You never know if something may slip through. Like, it's better to just go for it and give it a try. Potentially fail at it, but at least you're going for it and you're trying. Yeah. But like, just try.
Yeah. That's also good advice. The more you fail, the closer you are to getting to that success.
Exactly.
Every failure is just another step.
Yeah.
It's so cliche to say it, but it's true.
It's true. And I
like people say it.
Yeah. And like, I'll give a really quick example to kind of wrap things up. Like, and for me, like, this is not the first life that I've lived. Nepherti is not the first life that I've lived. I've lived many lives before I've gotten to this point. But I can say that this is the most successful life that I've lived. And I failed a lot to get here. So like, yeah. So
it takes a lot of retrying for sure.
100%. Yeah. So I agree with Jax, and you should absolutely keep that in mind what Jax said, and obviously what I shared as well, because it's very, very true. It's very, very fact. So thank you so much, Jax, for being on the podcast with me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a blast. Like, getting to know you, being able to finally sit down with you has been such a great time. And I really hope that we can do it again. Obviously, we end up at very similar parties and places and events. So, at the very least, I'll be able to say, "What's up, Jax?" It won't be weird for me to say that to you now.
No. Yeah. No. Ice broken.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. So, can you tell everyone where they can find you? For those people who may not even know about you, where can they find you? Right.
BlackJaxVR.com /VR gang. Just BlackJaxVR.com, but that's also a link. Just go to those, and that has everything that you can find of mine.
All right.
I love it. It's for you to click. All those links are for you. Click them all.
Awesome. Cool. All right. And of course, if you want to find me, you can find me, obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, congratulations. You've already completed one location, so you can find me on YouTube. But if you're watching this live on Twitch or, on YouTube, whatever, you can find me on YouTube at Nepherti. That is with one I. And if you'd like to find me elsewhere, if you happen to be viewing this on YouTube in the future, you can find me at Twitch and on Twitter /X, whatever you want to call it. You can find me there at Nepherti with 2 I's. So Nepherti with 2 I's is where you can find me on Twitch and on Twitter. And obviously I have my Patreon, which I've already talked about, so I'm not going to say it again. But if you'd like to get updates about the podcast and when we're having new guests, just getting updates about that, and want to keep up with what's coming up, because we have guests coming up. We always have guests. I'm always trying to get new people and meet new people. So if you want to keep up with that development, follow the Twitter account at Sweet Talking Pod. That is Sweet Talking Pod. You can follow that account for more information and keep up with the updates that come down the line when it comes to the podcast. So, with that in mind, Jax, it's been a pleasure. We're going to get into the post content in just a little bit, but I want to thank you so much for joining me and for making time out of your very busy schedule to be on the podcast. I'm very, I'm very honored and privileged that you were willing to do that. I hope that it was worth it and not a waste of your time. And yeah.
No, absolutely. Of course.
Cool. I really do appreciate it so very much. And we'll get into the post stuff and momentarily, actually. But for the rest of you guys viewing right now, we will see you next time. I thank you so much for joining me this evening on today, whenever you may be watching this, for another episode of the Sweet Talking Podcast with your host, Nepherti. And we've been joined by BlackJaxVR. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate each and every one of you so very much. Please do like, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do. Comment, let me know if there's something that Jax said or that I said that resonated with you. Please leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. So, with that said, we'll see you in the next episode. So until next time, we will see you then. Take good care. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourselves. Because, there's only one of you, and you never know who may be going through something difficult. So be kind to each other, be kind to yourselves, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.